Chapter 6050. You even bowed to me? I thought you were going to help the sword martial emperor kill me, Lin Xian said coldly. Hearing this, the nine serenity beast shook its head. Why would I do that? Young master, how would I dare to fight you? As for the sword martial emperor, that idiot, what kind of disciple did he teach? The nine serenity beast lowered its head. Two balls of nine serenity fire appeared in its eyes. It flew towards the storm sword saint. The storm sword saint kept kowtowing. Don't kill me. Give my master some face. Okay? Please, spare my life. However, the two balls of fire didn't turn him into ashes. What was the sword martial emperor? Whoever dared to fight against the young master would die. Even if the sword martial emperor came, he would have to lower his head in front of the young master. The nine netherworld beasts' voice rang out, causing countless people to be even more shocked. They all looked at Lin Xian and kept guessing. Who is this young man? Young master, please. The nine serenity beast led the way. Lin Xian and the others walked towards the second villa. The shopkeeper and the others were already trembling in fear. He came to Lin Xian and kept bowing. Young master, I'm sorry. I was blind. I didn't know you were coming. Please forgive me for my negligence. It's okay. The ignorant are not guilty. You can all leave. I want to be alone for a while. Very quickly, the shopkeepers and the young maidservants in the surroundings all left. Lin Xian and the others asked for a quiet courtyard. The nine Serenity Beast Palace was next to it. He said, Young master, are you also here for the Xia family's banquet? The Fortune Celestial Pool was really attractive. Lin Xian heard and asked, What is the Fortune Celestial Pool? The nine Serenity Beast was stunned. You don't know? If you don't know, why are you here? Lin Xian said, I saw a lot of people here, so I came over. Hurry up and tell me what the Fortune Celestial Pool is. The nine Serenity Beasts said. After Lin Xian and the others heard, their eyes flashed. The Fortune Celestial Pool should be that mysterious lake, so that was his name. From the looks of it, this gathering was indeed related to this lake. What exactly was the Xia family planning? The nine netherworld beasts beside him said, Young master, since you don't know about the Creation Celestial Pond, you probably don't have an invitation, but it doesn't matter. You can use mine. When the time comes, we'll go in together. The nine netherworld beast was very curious about Lin Xian's group, especially Lin Xian. The nine netherworld beast did not dare to offend him. This was the descendant of the great dragon. If he was on good terms with him, it would be beneficial to him. Therefore, the nine netherworld beast was willing to stay by Lin Xian's side. All right, then we won't stand on ceremony. There was no need to worry about the invitation. The banquet would begin in 3 days. Word of what had happened spread, and soon countless people were in an uproar. All of the surrounding clans in the valley knew about it. An incredible youth came to the second mountain manor. Even the nine netherworld beast had to lower its head to him. The two disciples of the sword martial emperor were also killed by the other party. When the news reached the sword martial emperor trembled in anger. Originally, he was looking for a few old friends to exchange their cultivation experience. When he heard this, he almost vomited blood. He had just left for a while, and his two disciples were killed, especially his eldest disciple, who had reached the boundary emperor level and was very talented in the sword Dao. He had planned to train him well. Maybe he could break through. But now, all his hopes were gone. His efforts were all in vain. Damn it, who was it? He went to the second mountain manor with a murderous aura. He wanted an explanation. The people inside, get the hell out here. The sword martial emperor came to the outside of the manor. His murderous aura was surging, and the sword chi on his body kept exploding. At this moment, everything in the world was penetrated. The people in the surrounding valley were also surprised. Many of them rushed over. Was the sword martial emperor going to attack someone? Interesting. Who would have thought that he would see a martial monarch throwing a tantrum before the banquet of the Xia clan had even begun? The shopkeeper and maids in the second mountain manor were scared out of their wits. Was the sword martial emperor here? However, at this moment, Butian walked out of the courtyard where Lin Xian was. He looked up at the sky and said, "It's you. Big Brother told you to get out of here. He doesn't want to attack you. Otherwise, you will regret it. Little thing, it's you." When the sword martial emperor saw Butian, he realized that this must be one of the people he met before. Damn kid, hand over the sarcophagus. He grabbed at Butian with his palm. Butian's face turned pale. After all, he was facing a martial emperor. However, at this moment, endless frost appeared in the courtyard and froze the world. It formed an ice shield and blocked the horrifying palm. The palm kept freezing and turned into an ice sculpture. Xueqi walked out and said to Butian, "Go inside. I will deal with it." Butian nodded. "Big sister, be careful." Then he retreated into the courtyard. Xueqi walked out and looked up at the sky. "You are a martial emperor. How dare you attack a kid? Shameless, unforgivable." "You again? I am looking for that kid." "What? Does he only dare to hide behind a woman?" The sword martial emperor was talking about Lin Xian. Xueqi shook her head. "You don't deserve my husband's help, because my husband can kill you instantly." "Humph! I thought it was not easy for you to reach the martial emperor realm at such a young age. However, you are so stubborn. Don't blame me for suppressing you. You are not bad. Go back and be my slave." The sword martial emperor's eyes shone with a horrifying light. Then he raised his arm and waved it out. At this moment, a beam of sword energy appeared and turned into the only thing in the world. Boundless murderous intent shook the sky. The sword slashed down. The surrounding people exclaimed, "It's here!" The sword martial emperor's sword energy. The sword martial emperor was a famous swordsman among the martial emperors. It was originally a representation of attack power, a representation of powerful strength. The sword martial emperor was one of the best among the martial emperors. His swordsmanship was absolutely shocking. Xueqi waved her jade-like hand and unleashed a terrifying frost to fight against the sword energy. The frost had sealed the sword chi. However, the second beam of sword energy came down. Then, hundreds of sword energy came down and shattered the frost in the sky. Xueqi condensed a pair of frost wings. She looked like an ice goddess in a painting, freezing the world. At this moment, everyone was terrified. The blood in their bodies was about to be frozen. The collision of the two martial emperors was earth-shattering. A huge black hole appeared. However, the two of them controlled themselves well. It seemed like they didn't want to alarm the Xia family. Therefore, the black hole quickly disappeared. After the collision, the two of them seemed to be evenly matched. It was too unbelievable. Someone was able to resist the sword martial emperor's attack. Moreover, it was a young man. Who is this woman? Why do I feel that she is very young? She just became a martial emperor not long ago. The sword martial emperor had been a martial emperor for 30,000 years. His swordsmanship had reached perfection. How could he not defeat this woman? The sword martial emperor's face darkened. He snorted and said, "Kid, you are hiding your head but showing your tail. Do you dare to come out and fight with me? I will let you use one hand." At this moment, Lin Xian's voice came from the courtyard. "Do you want to fight? Well, I will let you see my swordsmanship." Chapter 6051. As the sword slashed out, it lit up the 9 nether starry sky. It was like a bright lamp in the eternal night. This sword attack was too terrifying. The people around Dishan were all shocked. They were all stupefied at their spots. The sword martial emperor's pupils shrank. As a sword Dao great emperor, he knew how terrifying this sword was. "Damn it," he roared. He would not allow himself to be surpassed in sword Dao. In the next moment, he clasped his hands together and slashed down. Then he slashed forward. The two sword chis collided, and the sound of mountains collapsing could be heard. However, the sword martial emperor's body was pushed back continuously as a sword was sent flying out of his hands. This sword chi had penetrated his body. He landed in the distance and covered his wound with his left hand. His face looked terrible. His blood turned into countless blood-red swords that danced in the sky. The people around exclaimed. The sword martial emperor was injured. Oh, God, he was at a disadvantage in a sword Dao battle. Was there an even more terrifying sword Dao great emperor inside? Who are you? Do you dare to come out and meet me? The sword martial emperor gritted his teeth and said, that sword strike just now was too shocking. You want to meet me? Lin Xian walked out of the courtyard. His black hair danced in the wind. His handsome face made countless people look up to him. He's so young. It's a young man. This guy, how did he manage to unleash such a terrifying sword attack? Impossible. It's definitely not him. The sword martial emperor snorted. Kid, it's not you. You can't unleash such a sword technique. Ask the expert behind you to come out. You're so ignorant. Who told you that I can't unleash such a sword technique? Then he stretched out his 5 fingers and grabbed at the void. The power of laws gathered in his hand and formed a sword of laws. Then he slashed out. Boundless power was gathered within this sword. This sword light seemed to be able to sever everything in its path. Boom! The sword martial emperor kept retreating. His forehead was cracked and his eyes were wide open. This is impossible. That sword chi was really unleashed by him. This aura was really too similar. In that instant earlier, it was as if the other party had transformed into an unparalleled sword god, causing him to feel incomparably terrified. The others were also surprised. Is this the young sword god? Heavens, his sword was too terrifying. A single slash from the sky could cut through all things. Could it be that he was the youth that even the 9 Netherworld beast was afraid of? No wonder the 9 Netherworld beast was so arrogant and untamed. Why would it be afraid of a young man? It turned out that this young man's swordsmanship was too astonishing. Who exactly was he? At this moment, everyone was dumbfounded. They looked at Lin Xian with faces full of shock. Do you still want to compete with me? Lin Xian's indifferent voice sounded. The sword martial monarch fell silent. His face turned ugly. Lin Xian smiled. You said before that I was only fit to hide behind a woman. Now that I'm out, why don't you dare to do it again? As a swordsman, where is your will? Where's your sword heart? Pick up your sword and fight me. Lin Xian's cold voice sounded like thunder, causing everyone's soul to tremble. The sword martial monarch's blood boiled. In the next moment, he gritted his teeth. You've gone too far. Although your swordsmanship is strong, a great emperor will not tolerate humiliation. Today, even if I have to bet my honor, I'll fight you. Kid, you're not a great emperor, so I won't bully you. Today, let's not compete in cultivation, but in swordsmanship. After that, the sword martial monarch snorted coldly. The cracks on his body quickly healed. At the same time, thousands of sword chi appeared on his body. Sword spirit art. Countless people exclaimed, "This is the sword martial monarch's strongest sword technique." The sword chi in the sky gathered above the sword martial monarch's head and formed a palm-sized person. He walked with his sword in his arms, and countless rays of sword light circled around him. Then, the little person quickly flew forward. The sword intent on his body was too strong. Even if the sword martial monarch did not use his cultivation, it was still too strong. Even though the sword martial monarch was not a great emperor, his sword technique was not something that anyone below the great emperor could resist. The quasi-emperors were terrified and in despair. Everyone below the great emperor is an ant. They looked at Lin Xian again. I wonder how strong this kid's sword intent is. The previous two sword moves had stunned everyone. However, they still wanted to see if Lin Xian had other sword techniques. Sword spirit art? All right, I'll let you see my sword technique. Lin Xian stretched out his right hand and pressed toward the void. Qianquan sword technique. Everything is a sword. Everyone's eyes widened, but they realized that there was nothing on Lin Xian's body. There was no sharp sword aura. What's the meaning of this? Could it be that he's bluffing? No. As soon as he finished speaking, the surrounding grass, trees, mountains, and stones all burst out with extremely cold sword chi. As for the martial artists in the other palaces, the weapons in their hands also rose into the air and burst out with extremely cold light. Everything in the world turned into Lin Xian's sword for him to use. Boom, boom. The tiny person holding the sword clashed with the sword of everything, and a shocking sword chi burst out. The two collided and shook the world. One was the sword martial monarch, who condensed his own sword chi to form a tiny person. His swordsmanship could be said to be extremely cold. The other was Lin Xian, who condensed all things in the world to form a sword technique. Their sword Dao theories were polar opposites. Who would be more powerful? The sky full of swords fell and hit the tiny person. The tiny person's body shook, and the sword chi on its body dimmed. The sword martial monarch roared, "I won't be defeated. Using myself as a sword is the most powerful." His tiny sword Dao figure swept through everything, cleaving apart all the swords in the world. Great! Is the sword martial monarch going to win? However, Lin Xian shook his head. The show has just begun. He closed his fingers, and a cold light burst out from his eyes. Suddenly, the sword martial monarch's body shook, and he spat out a mouthful of blood. He felt that his body seemed to be out of control. The sword intent in his body was controlled by his opponent. This feeling was truly too frightening. The tiny sword chi figure was also affected and quickly dimmed. He hurried back to the sword martial monarch's side in shock. What happened? Everyone was shocked. Is the sword martial monarch injured? Lin Xian said, "When you're strong to the extreme, you will also become my sword." What a profound sword skill. What a terrifying sword intent. Did this guy treat the martial sword emperor as a sword and use it as a weapon? This is really crazy. I've lost. The sword martial monarch put away his sword spirit and sighed. In an instant, he seemed to have aged tens of thousands of years. Someone had actually surpassed him in sword Dao. This was a blow to his self-esteem. He didn't expect that there would always be someone better. "Young man, can you tell me your name?" "My name is Lin Wudi," everyone exclaimed. Lin Wudi, what an arrogant name. The sword martial monarch's eyes flickered. "I'll remember this name. I'll cultivate in seclusion. When my sword technique has another breakthrough, I'll come back and fight with you anytime," Lin Xian said lightly. Then, the sword martial monarch turned and left. He said in a deep voice, "Tell the Xia family that I won't attend this banquet." It seemed that he was going to cultivate in seclusion immediately. He was going to cultivate his sword technique again. Chapter 6052. After defeating the sword martial emperor, Lin Xian also returned to the courtyard. He was also in seclusion here. These days, he was waiting for the banquet while comprehending the origin of the immortal qi. He came here to help the corpse emperor, but now Lin Xian was here for himself. He must enter the creation's celestial pool. It definitely contained the secret of the immortal qi. Elder Xia had already broken through. He felt that he was not far from breaking through and becoming an emperor, as long as he could find a way to perfectly fuse the immortal qi and the divine fire. It would be enough. Attaining the Tao in the universe? Lin Xian knew that it was more than 10 times more difficult than here. Not only was there the shackles of the heavenly Tao, but there were also countless people eyeing him covetously. The Nirvana realm and the Supreme Palace would probably not let him get what he wanted. But so what? Even if the road ahead is dangerous, even if millions of people block my way, I will bravely advance with one sword. This was Lin Xian's Tao. The news here spread again. The young man who made the 9 netherworld beast bow its head defeated the sword martial emperor again. His sword Tao was so terrifying. Countless exclamations sounded. Was there a genius who would rise like a comet one day? Such a person was so powerful. Which family was he from? They had never heard of such a young emperor. They all thought that Lin Xian was already a great emperor. However, they did not know that Lin Xian was only a quasi-emperor. Once he became a great emperor, his strength would increase exponentially. In the Xia family's ancient palace, the Xia family's patriarch asked in a deep voice, "How is it? Is there any news from the burial ground?" 3 figures knelt below. They cupped their fists and said, "Patriarch, we found traces of battle around the creation celestial pool. There was the aura of our Xia family, but we did not find anyone. The torch dragon also disappeared. We did not find it." Hearing this, the first elder asked, "Patriarch, what should we do?" Tomorrow was the day of the banquet. There was no other way. They could only continue to send people to look for the crazy shark. As for the banquet, it began as scheduled. If we want to break the array, we have to borrow the strength of these people. Go and prepare. When the sun rises tomorrow, let those people climb the mountain. Yes, the great elder went to make preparations. The others left as well. Only the Xia family clan leader was left in the ancient hall. He stood up with a cold expression on his face. No matter who it is, whoever dares to go against the Xia family will be destroyed. After a moment of silence, he snorted coldly. If everything goes well, these people should still be following the Xia family. He headed towards the creation celestial pool. At that time, with their help, I will be able to open the fortune celestial pool. Then I will be able to obtain everything I want. The Xia clan. When he thought of this, his body became a little excited. He was also an expert who had managed to cultivate 2 strands of immortal energy. Not only that, he felt that he had already reached the peak. If he took another step forward, he would have the 3rd strand of immortal chi, which would make him an earth immortal. However, even after cultivating for 100,000 years, he still hadn't managed to cultivate this strand of immortal chi. Because of this, he felt despair. Was this the end of his road? However, the appearance of the fortune celestial pool had given him new hope. Perhaps he could use the power of the fortune celestial pool to condense the 3rd strand of celestial chi to become a new land immortal. In that way, he would reach a new height. His lifespan would be extended again. His strength would undergo an earth-shattering change. That was the immortal in everyone's eyes. Even the other great emperors would have to crawl at his feet. Therefore, this plan had to succeed. The next day, just as the sun rose, a passage was opened in the defensive array of Emperor Mountain. The people at the foot of the mountain went up one after another. They handed over their invitations and were invited in by the Xia family. Lin Xian and the others also followed the 9 netherworld beasts up the mountain and climbed up the Emperor Mountain. They felt a vast and spectacular sight. The entire Emperor Mountain possessed a mysterious power. This surprised Butian greatly. He said, "Big brother, the power of heaven and earth on this mountain is too terrifying. It surpasses everything." Lin Xian narrowed his eyes and observed with his Rinnegan. He was also surprised. Indeed, with his Rinnegan, he saw many arrays hidden under this mountain. Moreover, he saw many intertwined dragon veins and spirit veins. This was an extremely terrifying treasure land. However, thinking about it, the Xia family was a family that had lasted for millions of years. They were powerful and had a deep foundation that far surpassed everything. Xia Jia was also excited. Was this their family? It was indeed very strong. What would happen if he went against such a family? However, he was not afraid. Although his surname was Xia, he was no longer a member of the Xia family. He belonged to the god realm. He had more important things to do. After climbing halfway up the mountain, there was a very wide space. All kinds of buildings and palaces were densely covered in clouds. It was like an immortal palace. After Lin Xian and the others arrived, they were incomparably surprised. There were more people here than at the foot of the mountain. Obviously, these were the true experts. The 9 netherworld beasts said, "There are many people here. Young master, let me introduce you. Over there are the wind, fire, thunder, and lightning families." There were also some other families, such as the Ghost Clan, the Nether Cloud Clan, and the Green Tail Clan. These families all had great emperors. They had existed for 100,000 to hundreds of thousands of years. It seemed that they had all encountered difficulties in cultivation and urgently needed a fortune to improve themselves. It seemed that they were all eyeing the fortune celestial pool. Xueqi's beautiful eyes flickered. At this moment, a loud voice was heard. The Xia clan had arrived. Everyone in the room stood up at once. Lin Xian and the others also took a deep breath. The most crucial moment had arrived. They wondered if Xia Juyo and the others would be discovered. A group of people flew over from afar. The auras of these people were incomparably strong. There was more than one great emperor. Walking at the front was a man. His aura was even more terrifying. He was the Xia clan's patriarch, Xia Qinyu. His strength had reached the realm of 2 strands of immortal qi. Moreover, he seemed even more terrifying than Xia Guangsha. "Greetings, patriarch." The surrounding people bowed one after another in a very courteous manner. In front of their subordinates, no one dared to be arrogant. Xia Tianyu also smiled and nodded. He replied, "Everyone, there is no need to be so polite. Please take a seat." Soon he arrived at the throne in front. He looked around. Wherever his gaze passed, there was a trace of nostalgia. Suddenly, he stopped in front of Lin Xian. This made Lin Xian and the others' hearts skip a beat. Could it be that we have been discovered? Xia Jio took a deep breath. The aura on his body wavered. Lin Xian said, "Don't act rashly. Let's wait and see." Xia Jio nodded. At this moment, Xia Qinyu said, "This young master should be the young sword god who fought with the sword martial emperor at the foot of the Emperor Mountain. Now that I have seen him, he is indeed extraordinary. I thought that you were already a great emperor, since you defeated the sword martial emperor. I didn't expect you to only be a quasi-emperor. Your swordsmanship is really exquisite." Hearing this, the surrounding people all turned their heads and looked at Lin Xian. This was the young man in the legends. He wasn't a great emperor yet, but he defeated the sword martial emperor in swordsmanship. It was unbelievable. Chapter 6053. Xia clan leader, you are too polite. Lin Xian smiled. At the same time, they were all relieved. It turned out that he had not discovered Xia Juyo, but was paying attention to Lin Xian. At this moment, someone snorted. A quasi-emperor with slightly better sword skills is nothing to be afraid of. Xia clan leader, let's just ignore him and talk about the creation celestial pool. I want to know if the creation celestial pool is real. Those who spoke all had a frightening cold aura around them. There was also the power of wind, fire, thunder, and lightning. They were from the wind, fire, thunder, and lightning families. The others also looked at Xia clan leader. Xia Qinyu smiled and said, "Don't worry, everyone. I originally wanted to treat everyone to a meal and then talk about this. However, since everyone wants to know, fine, I'll tell you directly. The creation celestial pool does exist, and we have already found its location." Really? Then what are we waiting for? Let's go quickly. This time, the one who spoke had a green tail on its back. They were from the Qingwei clan. Xia clan leader shook his head. How can it be so simple? Although we have found the creation celestial pool, we cannot enter it, because there is a huge formation around the creation celestial pool. Even with the power of my Xia clan, we cannot break this formation. Therefore, I have gathered everyone here, hoping that we can work together to break the formation. No problem. The experts of the surrounding clans nodded. They also knew that if the Xia clan could break the formation by themselves, they would have nothing to do. Therefore, working together was the best way. A branch family member said, "Xia clan leader, I don't think we need to eat. Let's go directly." "Yes, I am not in the mood to do anything else. I just want to see the creation celestial pool. All right, since everyone is so enthusiastic, let's not delay. Let's go." Xia clan leader also stood up. He waved his hand and said, "First elder, you lead the people there." This time, Xia clan leader did not go. He wanted to stay in the Xia clan. However, the first elder was also a great emperor-level expert. He led the people of the Xia clan and set off with the others. In the next moment, these people rose into the air and flew into the distance. "Let's go too." Lin Xian transmitted his voice to Xia Juyo and the others. They followed suit. A team headed towards the bone-burying forest. When the people of the surrounding families saw this, they exclaimed, "Is the creation celestial pool in the bone-burying forest?" "That's right," the great elder said, "in the depths of the bone-burying forest." So this was the case. The bone-burying forest was extremely bizarre and terrifying. It was said that there were even martial emperor-level beasts in there. There were even martial emperors who were injured inside. That was why no one had investigated it all this time. Who would have thought that such a mysterious fortune would be hidden there? The group of people entered the bone-burying forest. They landed and moved forward. The demonic beasts they encountered along the way were all easily slain by them. However, after about half an hour, the first elder at the front said, "We'll be in the depths of bone-burying forest soon." The demonic beasts here were even more terrifying. Furthermore, there are also some extremely terrifying poisonous creatures and dangerous powers. Everyone be careful. When the others heard this, they all took a deep breath as the laws revolved around their bodies. They did not dare to be careless. The bone-burying forest was an ancient battlefield. Millions of years ago, a top-level battle took place here. There were more than one martial emperor who had fallen. It could be said that this place was extremely dangerous. Even though they had the advantage in numbers, they still had to be careful. Lin Xian and the others were rather relaxed. After all, this was not the first time they had been here. However, this time, the route they took was different from theirs. Therefore, they still revolved around their armor and followed silently. Boom! Suddenly, a black wind appeared in front of them. It was like two black dragons roaring towards them. Therefore, it was as if they had been slashed by a knife. Many people's armor was beaten until it was dim. Some people were even sent flying. What a terrifying aura! Even Lin Xian and the others were surprised. This path was obviously more difficult. Logically speaking, they should not have died. The Xia family should have been able to find a safer path. Why would they choose such a difficult path? However, after this gust of wind, they calmed down, because there was no more danger. Finally, they came to the front. The field of vision ahead was vast, and there was only a lake embedded in the ground. The first elder stopped, pointed at the lake in front of them, and said, "That is the creation celestial pool." What? Was that the lake water? Many people were ready to rush over. However, the first elder said, "Everyone, please be careful. This lake water is abnormally terrifying and has the power of silence. Once you enter, you will probably sink into the lake. Is it that magical? I don't believe it." A member of the Wind clan did not believe it. He sent out a clone and instantly rushed in. The terrifying storm was like a blade, tearing everything apart. However, in the next moment, his expression changed. He could not sense it. He found that his clone was like a stone sinking into the sea. It was so magical. The powerhouses of the other families all tried. Even a few martial emperors made a move. However, without exception, all the power they sent out disappeared as soon as it entered the lake. At this moment, a martial emperor said, "This should be that extremely terrifying array. How do we open it? Should we join forces?" The first elder nodded and said, "That's right." With a wave of his hand, countless blood-colored flags flew around the lake and connected into a circle. He said, "Everyone, please stand in the corresponding position. Next, we will begin to break the array." After witnessing the miraculous nature of the lake, the surrounding people all believed what the Xia family had said. Therefore, they did not have any doubts. They all stood around the lake. "Let's do it too," the corpse emperor said. However, Lin Xian's brows were tightly knitted together. He kept feeling that something was amiss. He said, "Everyone, be careful. I have a feeling that there is something wrong with the Xia clan." Indeed, the surrounding families all began to move. However, the Xia clan remained standing in the void, as if they had no intention of moving. The others stood in the corresponding positions and said, "Okay, what should we do next?" The first elder said, "Wait, I will move soon." He formed a seal with his palm. Suddenly, the blood-colored flags swayed and condensed into many blood-colored chains that surrounded these people. "What's going on? How dare you seal me?" Immediately, some people were angry. "Everyone, don't worry. Do you think the Xia clan would lie to you? This is just the process of opening the array." As soon as the words came out, the others were skeptical, but did not resist. Those blood-colored chains wrapped around more and more people. There were 9 blood-colored chains on each person's body, making clattering sounds. A monstrous blood aura condensed. After doing all this, the first elder waved his hand again, and a law disappeared into the ground in the distance. He said, "Fellow Taoist torch dragon, you can come out now." The earth began to rumble. Then a dragon head poked out. Chapter 6054. It was a dragon, a torch dragon. The surrounding people exclaimed when they saw this scene. After the torch dragon came out, he said, "Oh, is your Xia family ready?" "That's right." The great elder nodded and said, "We need your frosty Een power." That was not a problem. The torch dragon opened his mouth and spat out his dragon pearl. It was a pitch-black bead that emitted a terrifying power of ice. The immortal chi on it enveloped the surrounding people. In the next moment, they felt their bodies stiffen. At the same time, those blood-colored chains began to pierce into their bodies and absorb their blood. What was going on? "Damn it, are you trying to harm us?" Immediately, some great emperors roared crazily. They wanted to resist. However, this was carefully prepared by the Xia family. Coupled with the torch dragon's dragon pearl, those great emperors could not resist at all. They could only watch as their blood was absorbed. "Xia family, are you crazy? Although you're strong, you've offended so many families at the same time. Aren't you afraid of revenge? Hurry up and let us go, and everything will be fine. Otherwise, if all our families join forces, you won't be able to bear the consequences." Countless roars could be heard. Xia Juyo and the others' expressions changed. Not good. There was indeed a trap. They actually wanted to suck blood. The corpse emperor also frowned. He snorted coldly and wanted to attack. However, at this moment, the great elder said, "Fellow Taoists, don't panic. We're not trying to harm you, but we need some of your bloodline power." "What? You need our bloodline? Why did you say so earlier? Why did you use such a method?" "That's right. Don't try to lie to us. We won't be fooled by you again." They roared crazily and began to fight back. The great elder said loudly, "Do you know what the array formation in this creation celestial pool is? I can tell you, it's called the Bloodthirsty Sky Sealing Array. Back then, it was set up by 5 heavenly masters. Its power was extremely terrifying. Even if one cultivated 2 strands of immortal chi, they could do nothing about it. Unless a real Earth immortal came, he would be able to break it with tyrannical power. Of course, there was another way. That was to gather countless powerful blood and fuse it into this array formation. This array formation could be dissolved. Is there really such a thing? Someone from the Yufeng clan asked. The people of the Netherfire race also said, "Why didn't you tell us earlier?" The great elder shook his head. They definitely wouldn't believe him and might even leave. Therefore, in order to prevent such a thing from happening, we decided to act first. Then, I'll explain it to you. Some people fell silent because they had indeed discovered that a blood-red array had appeared around the lake. It was extremely terrifying. Above it, bloody light overflowed into the heavens. It was truly shocking. Could it be true? The surrounding people were shocked. The corpse emperor snorted coldly and thought, "Idiot! Regardless of whether it's true or not, I can't let him suck my blood." That's right, Shuiqi also said. Even if it was true, his power would suffer a great loss if most of his bloodline was absorbed. Even if he could enter the celestial creation pool, he would not be a match for the Xia clan. Furthermore, not a single person from the Xia family contributed. What a good plan. Look at me. Lin Xian secretly used the power of the great dragon sword soul to break all the blood-colored chains. It would be difficult for other people to succeed, but with the great dragon sword soul's indestructible power, it would not be difficult to break it. Moreover, there was Butian, the little guy who had cultivated the heavenly book. He could also point out some weaknesses. Lin Xian and the others moved quietly. They did not leave after breaking the chains. Instead, they pretended to be in great pain. 3 days passed like this. After 3 days, the faces of the surrounding people turned pale. More than half of their bloodline had been sucked away. Their power had been greatly reduced. Some of the great emperors became frightened. If this continued, they would be sucked dry. At that time, his body and soul might even be destroyed. Damn it, is it not done yet? Damn it. Everyone, let's fight back. This was a trap. These people could not wait any longer. However, at this moment, the array around them started to shake violently. Then, a cracking sound could be heard as a crack appeared. Great. It was a success. The great elder's face lit up with joy when he saw this scene. Fellow Taoist, you don't need to panic. Look, the array is already cracking, and it will break soon. Damn it, just hold on for a while longer. These people had already been sucked for 3 days, and they were unwilling to give up halfway. Just like this, another day passed. Finally, a few cracks appeared on the array. It seemed that the array would break at any moment. The great elder took out a spatial array and transmitted his voice. Not long after, several figures walked out from inside. The one in the lead was the Xia family's patriarch, Xia Qinyu. After Xia Qinyu arrived, he looked down at the lake below with a smile. Very good. Boom. Not long after, the bloodthirsty sky-sealing array was completely broken with a boom. The surrounding blood-colored flags also disappeared. The chains were also broken. The torched dragon took back the arcanine dragon pearl, and the others broke out of the ground. They roared at the sky. Damn it, Xia family, you are too despicable. Give me an explanation. Everyone, let's work together. Many people rushed toward the Xia family. Xia Qinyu snorted coldly, and 2 bursts of immortal energy erupted from his body. Everyone, what is the meaning of this? Are you going to attack the Xia family? The torch dragon beside him also flew over. He also released 2 bursts of immortal energy. The 2 super great emperors stood there, suppressing all directions. The people of the surrounding families all stopped, their faces ashen. Damn it, this is really too damn it. This is so infuriating. Xia Qinyu said. Everyone spent a lot of effort to break the array. Don't you want to go down and take a look? The Fortune Celestial Pawn was inside. This time, you went first, and the people of the surrounding families also learned their lesson. They definitely wouldn't work for others anymore. They wanted to follow behind and reap the benefits of the fishermen. Okay, no problem. Xia Qinyu sneered, waved his hand, and tore open the surface of the lake, rushing in. Without the bloodthirsty sky-sealing array, the power of silence also disappeared. Xia Qinyu waved his hand. Xia family, follow me. Immediately, the great elder and the others entered one after another. The torched dragon also swung its tail and rushed in. It seems that there is no danger. Let's go in. The surrounding families and sects also followed in one after another. Lin, Xian, and the others also said, "Let's go." The group of people entered the lake. After entering, a gloomy and cold power spread over. They found that the lake was very vast and incomparably cold. They all used their laws to resist. After a while, they were stunned. Below, there seemed to be a huge monster, and a black shadow shrouded all directions. "What is that? Let's go down and take a look." They quickly rushed over. When they arrived at the place where the black shadow was and saw the scene ahead, they were all stunned. Chapter 60:55. The huge shadow below was none other than a city. It was an extremely ancient city. The city walls were desolate and full of cracks. There were knife wounds and sword holes. In short, it seemed to have experienced an endless battle. There was actually an ancient city here. The surrounding people were all shocked. Even the Xia family was surprised. Could it be that the creation immortal pool was in this ancient city? Go in. They quickly descended and found the gate of the city. There was brown blood on the two pitch-black gates. Obviously, it was left behind from the battle back then. "Open it." A great emperor of the Netherfire clan struck out with both palms. Two big flaming palms blotted out the sky and the earth and slapped forward. However, the blood on the black gate burst out with a blood-red light. It formed a blood-red sword energy and flew over. The Netherfire Great Emperor felt the impact and kept retreating. The others also turned pale. No way. Even after so many years, the blood was still so powerful. What kind of battle happened back then? The Netherwater Great Emperor said, "Could it be that battle a million years ago?" Thinking of that battle, the surrounding people's scalps went numb. Xia Qinyu walked out and said, "Let's attack together." The other people nodded. A few great emperors joined forces and blasted out a vast amount of energy, sending it flying forward. Endless immortal chi and divine fire turned into a dazzling light. Like a sky, it landed in front of them and finally opened the gate of the ancient city. Rushing out, a primitive aura and a mysterious power swept through the ancient city. It was a little gray inside, as if it was shrouded in a desolate power. "Go in." The Xia family walked in front, and the others followed. Lin Xian used his Rinnegan to observe. He said, "Be careful, everyone. I'm afraid it's very dangerous in this ancient city." Xia, Jiu, Xueqi, and the others nodded. Even the corpse emperor looked serious. After entering the ancient city, they saw many corpses on the ground. They were wearing ancient clothes. Some had turned into white bones. Fragments of various weapons were scattered on the ground. The surrounding palaces and pavilions were also shattered and turned into ruins. Back then, a world-destroying war had indeed taken place here. Wang. At this moment, another gust of wind blew up in front of them. It was a black cloud that flew over. It was actually capable of devouring a human soul. Many people felt their souls trembling, as if they were about to be sucked away. "Get out of my sight." The deep fire emperor punched out. The ghost wind great emperor struck out with a blade of water, severing heaven and earth. The others frantically retreated to avoid the black fog. They were terrified. They had just arrived, and they had already encountered such a dangerous force. This ancient city was too terrifying. At this moment, Xia Qinyu said, "Guys, Since the ancient city is so big, why don't we split up? As soon as these words were spoken, the eyes of the others flickered. There were indeed some people who wanted to act alone. Perhaps this place really did contain some heaven-shaking treasure. However, there were also some people whose faces were pale. It was so dangerous here. If they split up, they might die. Immediately, someone laughed and said, "Xia clan leader, if you don't mind, we are willing to follow the Xia clan and contribute some strength." Naturally, he welcomed it. Xia Qianyu smiled. Recruiting some people was also beneficial to them. For example, when there was danger, they could let these people take the risk and watch from the back. The Xia clan was strong, so they had gathered many people. Of course, there were also some who were prepared to act separately. For example, the Wind, Fire, Thunder, and Lightning clans. Therefore, the 4 clans were prepared to act alone. Lin Xian was also prepared to leave the Xia clan. After all, he had Xia Juyo and Xia Xingchen by his side. Once they encountered danger, Xia Juyo would probably be recognized if she used her strength. There was also the Corpse Emperor, the enemy of the Xia clan. Once he was recognized, a shocking battle would be unavoidable. Now that the situation in the ancient city was unclear, it was better to preserve their strength. Thus, the group of people prepared to walk into the distance. However, at this moment, Xia Qinyu said in a deep voice, "Wait." Lin Xian and the others halted in their tracks as their hearts skipped a beat. Lin Xian turned around and said, "Oh, Xia clan leader, is there anything else?" "Lin Gongzi, the people beside you have been covered in black robes. Can you let me see their real faces?" While speaking, he stared at 2 figures. One was the Corpse Emperor, and the other was Xia Juyo. For some reason, he felt that these 2 people were very strange. "That's not necessary. My 2 friends don't like to be disturbed." Lin Xian shook his head and said. The first elder walked out. "Humph, calling you Lin Gongzi is giving you face. When has anyone dared to refuse the Xia clan's work?" "What if I don't agree?" Lin Xian said coldly. The surrounding people were surprised. This young man dared to challenge the Xia clan. It's been a long time since anyone dared to challenge us. Don't think that you can be arrogant in front of the Xia clan just because you defeated a great emperor. You're not qualified. The first elder stared at Lin Xian, and an extremely cold light burst out from his eyes. Then he pointed at one of the black-robed men and said, "Let me see who he is. After that, I'll let you go. Otherwise, don't blame us for being rude." The figure he pointed at was naturally Xia Juyo. Obviously, he also noticed that there was something unusual about the other party. It couldn't be helped. Xia Juyo had the legendary Juyo body, which was an extremely special physique in the Xia clan. Now that they were in close contact, how could the Xia clan's experts not sense it? However, Xia Juyo hid it especially well, and with the power of the sky-swallowing jar, the Xia clan's experts couldn't sense it. Therefore, the Xia clan's people weren't very confident. Hearing this, Xia Juyo was ready to attack at any time. Even the Corpse Emperor snorted coldly. It seemed that he couldn't hold back anymore. Lin Xian smiled. "The Xia clan is really arrogant. Previously, you trapped us in the formation and absorbed our blood to break the formation. But you're unharmed. Now, you want to bully me, a young junior. Who are you going to bully next time? The Wind, Fire, Thunder, and Lightning clan, or the Green Tail clan? Those people didn't look good. Fellow Taoist, you're right. The Xia clan is too arrogant. A lot of my blood was absorbed by him. The other people were also angry. The Xia clan can't go too far. If it had been before, they would have watched the show. But now it was different. They had all been tricked by the Xia clan before. Therefore, they were very disgusted with the Xia clan. Now, the Xia clan wanted to bully them again. Naturally, they were annoyed. Young man, I only have one request. Release the black vortex on him, and let me feel his aura. That's all." We won't do anything to you. There's no room for discussion. If you insist on being stubborn, don't blame us for attacking you." After he finished speaking, Lin Xian snorted coldly and took a step forward. Xueqi also released a strong force. Xia Juyo and the Corpse Emperor also prepared to attack. The atmosphere became tense in an instant. A great battle was about to break out. Chapter 6056. The others also gasped. "We haven't even seen the treasure yet, but we're going to have a big battle in advance." However, at this moment, Torch Dragon said, "Well, we're here to find the celestial pool of creation. Now, we haven't even seen its shadow, and we're going to fight in advance. It's not too late to find the celestial pool of creation first." After saying this, he gave Lin Xian a meaningful look. The members of the Xia family were shocked. Even Xia Qinyu was stunned. "You want to help them?" He really didn't understand why Torch Dragon would speak up for these young people. Although the other party was a great emperor, they only had a wisp of immortal chi, so they didn't take it seriously. Torch Dragon said, "This ancient city is so dangerous. If the battle causes something unexpected, it will be troublesome. Who knows if there are mysterious arrays in this city?" Hearing this, Xia Qinyu was silent. Soon he nodded. "Okay, then I'll give Brother Torch Dragon face. Boy, you're very lucky. I'll spare you this time. Next time we meet, don't blame me for being ruthless." A trace of cold-killing intent appeared in his eyes. Then he snorted and turned to leave. The members of the Xia family laughed coldly and followed the clan leader. "Let's go too." The other clans all chose a direction and quickly moved forward. After all, the ancient city was very big. No one knew where the celestial pool of creation was. They could only rely on luck. It was too dangerous. After these people left, Xia Juyo breathed a sigh of relief. The Corpse Emperor also snorted. "Xia family, don't let me see you. Otherwise, I'll teach you a lesson. Let's move too." Lin Xian said to Butian while using his Rinnegan to look around. "You use your heavenly book to see if there are any clues." Butian nodded and said, "Big brother, I can only try my best. However, I only cultivated a little bit of the heavenly book. By the way, I have this thing." Then he waved his hand and took out a black ruler. "What is this?" Xia Xingchen next to him blinked and asked curiously. Butian said, "This is called the sky measuring ruler. It's my grandfather's. He left it to me." After saying that, Butian began to use the heaven measuring ruler to determine the direction. The sky measuring ruler kept spinning in Butian's palm. Finally, he stopped and pointed in one of the directions. Butian said, "Come, let's go in this direction." This was the east of the city. The group quickly set off. Along the way, they walked cautiously. The reason for that was because danger was present everywhere in the city. There were all kinds of clouds and mists. There were black clouds and red clouds. It was extremely terrifying. Once they were enveloped by it, a massacre would ensue. Fortunately, Lin Xian and the others had been careful along the way, and they had not encountered any danger. After half a day, they finally stopped. "Let's rest for a while." Even though it was only half a day, it was more dangerous than fighting for 10 years. Everyone was a little tired. They found a relatively safe place and sat down to rest. Not long after, another team arrived. At first, Xueqi and the others were startled. This was because these were also black clouds with red eyes on them. They thought that it was the same kind of fog from before that had come again. However, Lin Xian realized that it was not the case. The aura was not right. The Corpse Emperor beside him said, "They are from the Dark Cloud tribe." The Black Cloud clan was also a top-notch clan. Although they were not as strong as the Xia clan, they were not as strong. Although the Dark Cloud tribe was not as strong as the Dark Cloud tribe, it was much stronger than the Yu family. At this moment, the Dark Cloud tribe had arrived and saw Lin Xian and the others. They did not go forward. Instead, they landed on the other side. However, these blood-red eyes kept falling on Lin Xian and the others. Finally, one of the stormy clouds flew over and turned into a figure. It was a man in black armor. He was handsome and had blood-red eyes. On his back, he carried a long black sword. He strode forward, and as he neared, he looked over at Lin Xian. He said, "Are you the young swordsman who defeated the sword martial emperor? I heard that your swordsmanship is very strong. I wonder if you can compare notes with me? Let me see if you defeated the martial emperor with your true ability." There was a trace of coldness in his eyes. Obviously, he was challenging Lin Xian. The 9 netherworld beasts said, "Do you want to fight? I will accompany you." He walked out. However, the man in black armor said, "I won't fight with you. You don't know swordsmanship." "I will fight with him. What do you think? Kid, do you dare? I heard that you are called invincible. What right do you have to call yourself invincible?" Obviously, Lin Xian's title and powerful swordsmanship had angered some people. Now that they had the chance, they naturally wanted to attack him. Lin Xian stood up and said, "Are you sure you want to fight? I am afraid that if you lose, your family will not follow the rules and attack me." The man in black armor snorted, "I, Wu Yunhe, am not such a shameless person. I swear in the name of the martial emperor that we will fight one-on-one without involving any family or sect. If I lose, I am not as good as you." Behind him, those from the Wu Yunhe family sneered, because they did not think that Wu Yunhe would lose. In their opinion, the sword martial emperor was defeated because he was careless and was sneak attacked. The same thing would never happen to a martial monarch again. "Come on, kid. I will give you a chance. I will let you fight first." Wu Yunhe waved his hand, confidently. Lin Xian took out the immortal slaying sword. He said, "Then I will not be polite." In the next moment, a terrifying light burst out from his eyes. Then he stabbed out with the sword. The murderous aura on the immortal slaying sword was extremely fast. Not good. The people from the Wu Yunhe family were shocked. There is something wrong with this sword. Wu Yunhe's pupils shrank. He wanted to draw out the sword, but it was too late. In a hurry, he could only throw out a punch. With a boom, one of his arms was injured, and even the bones were visible. He retreated to the back. His expression turned extremely ugly. Lin Xian laughed. "Is that all you have? You are too weak. Do you still want to fight?" When the 9 netherworld beasts saw this scene, it laughed heartily. "Wu Yunhe, you are too weak. You can't even block Lin Gongzi's sword. You are useless. You are courting death. How dare you sneak attack me? Damn it." Wu Yunhe roared. He pulled out the black sword on his back. He quickly slashed it. This sword turned into a black lightning. It was dazzling, as if it could pierce through everything. Lin Xian attacked with his sword. The two collided. Not long after, Wu Yunhe was at a disadvantage again. "Damn it, this is impossible. He has surpassed me in swordsmanship. I want you to die." Extremely cold, murderous aura burst out from his eyes. He would not allow such a person to exist. In the next moment, he stopped suppressing his martial emperor cultivation. A monstrous, immortal chi swept out in all directions. At this moment, he seemed to have turned into a god of war. The black sword in his hand released a terrifying aura. It was as if it could split the sky and earth. "Go to hell." The sword slashed down, enveloping Lin Xian. Chapter 6057. The members of the Wuyan family laughed when they saw this scene. It seemed that the Wuyan family was really angry. Once he used the power of a great emperor, the kid would not be able to resist. After all, everyone below the great emperor was like an ant. Xue Qi and the others shook their heads and sneered when they saw this. Wuyan was really courting death. Did he really think that Lin Xian could not defeat a great emperor? In the next moment, the two sword energies collided again. The black cloud crane was sent flying. Not only that, he was pierced through by the sword, and a transparent bloody hole appeared on his body. He let out a miserable cry. "This is impossible." The members of the Wu Yun family were stunned when they saw this scene. Wu Yun, he who used the power of a great emperor, was even more seriously injured. What was going on? This kid's power was too terrifying. Wu Yun, he looked ferocious. "You have the combat power of a great emperor. Damn it, man, let's kill him together." He mobilized the power of the Wu Yun family. The members of the family behind quickly rushed over. The 9 netherworld beast snorted when it saw this scene. "You are despicable. You said that you would not use your family's power." Wu Yun said, "Anyway, there is no third family here. Who will know if I kill you?" Wu Yun, he showed a ferocious expression. He wanted to capture Lin Xian and make his life a living hell. Lin Xian and the others were also angry. "Let's fight. Who is afraid of who?" The corpse emperor and the others also wanted to attack. However, at this moment, the ground cracked open and some black insects flew out. Each of these insects was the size of a palm. When they flew up, they covered the sky, and there were millions of them. Where did these insects come from? "Get out of my way!" The members of the Wu Yun family roared and attacked the insects with their hands. They wanted to kill these insects. However, in the next moment, they screamed. Some of the young geniuses' hands were bitten off. The other people also turned pale. They found that when they hit the insects, it was as if they hit divine iron. There was something wrong with these insects. Lin Xian frowned and waved his long sword to hit away some of the insects. Xue Qi, who was next to him, also said, "Let's fight together." However, the zombie emperor said, "Oh no, these are ghouls. Retreat, hurry up and leave." It was as if he had encountered something terrifying. "Let's go." Lin Xian didn't hesitate either. The corpse emperor was a super great emperor with 2 divine fires. If even he was so terrified, one could imagine how terrifying those ghouls were. They retreated into the distance. However, there were still some insects that flew over, and Xue Qi used ice to block them. These insects were sealed in ice. However, not long after, the ice cracked, and they quickly rushed over. 9 divine palm. Xue Qi unleashed another ice attack. Lin Xian also unleashed his heaven swallowing jar, swallowing the heavens and the earth. At the same time, he unleashed the power of the great dragon sword soul to slash apart heaven and earth. It formed a huge crack in the space. Only then did he manage to block the insects. They let out a sigh of relief. Xiajiu asked, "Ghoul? What's that?" "Was he very powerful?" The corpse emperor said, "Very terrifying. Ghoul is the name of these insects. Some of them are strong, and some of them are weak. Some of them are very dangerous. However, you have seen the situation in this ancient city. Many experts have died. Among them, there was more than one great emperor. Their corpses were eaten by these insects. Only the heavens knew how terrifying these insects were. So, don't be surrounded by them. Otherwise, we'll be finished. Were they that powerful?" Xiajiu, Xue Qi, and the others didn't believe it. However, at this moment, a miserable cry came from afar. "No, save me." Everyone was able to tell that it was the cry of the black cloud crane from before. They turned their heads to look. In the next moment, they sucked in a breath of cold air. They saw that half of the black cloud crane's body had been bitten into bones. It was very miserable. It can't be, right? This is a great emperor. Even he can't stop these ghouls? Let's go. Let's go quickly. Lin Xian and the others felt their scalps go numb, and they quickly retreated. Not long after, the ground below split open again, and more ghouls rushed out. This time, there were more than 10 million of them. Lin Xian and the others quickly counterattacked. They focused on retreating and didn't fight head-on. In fact, it wasn't just them. The other places here also encountered ghouls. For example, the wind, fire, thunder, and lightning families also encountered ghouls. The Xia family also encountered ghouls. They all retreated frantically. 2 days later, they retreated to a safe place. This was already the core area of the ancient city. It was different from the other places outside. The experts who had died here were even more powerful. However, they didn't see any ghouls. They all breathed a sigh of relief. Lin Xian and the others were fine, but the other families suffered heavy losses. For example, the Black Cloud Crane from before had died. The fall of a living great emperor in this place was definitely an earth-shattering event. In addition to the Black Cloud family, the wind, fire, thunder, and lightning families also suffered losses. The Xia clan had also lost powerful cultivators. However, the Black Cloud Crane was probably the only great emperor who died. One had to admit that the Black Cloud Crane was very unlucky. Previously, he was injured by Lin Xian. In addition to his carelessness, he was completely surrounded by the ghouls that had just come out. Therefore, the other people above were also incomparably terrified. This ancient city was too strange. Some insects that rushed out could bite a great emperor to death. Who knew? Would there be something more terrifying next? Let's continue. After entering the core area, they continued to set off. However, when they arrived at the core area, they found that they couldn't fly in this area. This wasn't the first time they had encountered this. Previously, when they were in the Black Desert, Lin Xian and the others couldn't fly. At that time, only the Corpse Emperor and the others with 2 divine fires could fly. Now, it seemed that it was the same. Indeed, the Corpse Emperor could still fly. However, he said, this core area is also very big. If we continue to go forward, I'm afraid that I won't be able to fly. Let's go. I'm more and more interested in this ancient city. What era was this ancient city from? Lin Xian and the others set off again. After half a day, Butian stopped. The sky-measuring ruler in his hand kept spinning. At the same time, a few mysterious runes appeared. Butian said, "Big brother, there seems to be something ahead." After hearing this, Lin Xian activated his Rinnegan and looked ahead. Sure enough, he found a figure in the sky. It was a statue-like existence. It had the body of a human, the head of a demonic beast, and a pair of wings on its back. It could actually float in the void. At the same time, Lin Xian also found that there were many people in front of him. They should be the people of the wind, fire, thunder, and lightning families. At this moment, the people of the 4 families also discovered the existence in the sky. The people of the Yufeng clan exclaimed, "Is this the legendary Blue Sparrow?" Yes, it was indeed the Blue Sparrow. The people of the Netherfire family were also delighted. This thing can fly here. If we catch it, then we can fly. I see that there seems to be a lot of mysterious power in the sky. After absorbing it, it can increase the power of our immortal chi seeds. After hearing this, Lin Xian's heart skipped a beat. The power in the sky. However, he couldn't fly now. He couldn't capture this kind of power. It seemed that he had to snatch the Blue Sparrow. Chapter 6058. Lin Xian retracted his gaze and said something to Xueqi and the others. Everyone was surprised. The Corpse Emperor said, "Why don't we just snatch it?" However, Lin Xian said, "No, we have to conserve our strength. If we encounter ghouls again, we'll be in trouble. So, we can't act rashly. I've thought of a way to snatch it without any effort." Lin Xian took out Little White. He said, "Little guy, you've been too relaxed these days. Help me get a treasure." Little White was taking an afternoon nap. At this moment, he opened his big eyes and nodded when he heard Lin Xian's words. He patted Lin Xian's shoulder with his little paw and said, "Don't worry, leave it to me. No problem." His voice was very young and tender. Bu Tian and Xia Xingchen smiled. What a cute little monkey. The two of them ran over. Lin Xian said, "Wait for the opportunity. Catch the blue sparrow in front of us." Then Lin Xian and the others began to hide and wait. The blue sparrow in front of them was still floating in the void. It seemed to only have the cultivation of a quasi-emperor. However, it didn't seem to be enough in front of the wind, fire, thunder, and lightning families. How to snatch it was the problem. Although the wind, fire, thunder, and lightning families had joined forces, they were still different families. Among them, someone from the wind family said, "How about this? Send out people below the great emperor of our family to have a competition. The winner can subdue the blue sparrow. Of course, the 4 families can use it together." "No problem." The people of the other 3 families also nodded. In other words, the winner could control the blue sparrow. The others could only ride it and didn't have the power to control it. All right, each clan will send out 3 people to compete with each other. The people of the 4 families began to fight. Lin Xian sneered. "Stupid things." He looked at Little White and said, "Little guy, it's up to you." "No problem." Little White flew out quietly with the treasure bowl on its head. The battle in front of them began. The genius disciples of the 4 families were also very powerful. They used all kinds of laws, supernatural powers, and unique skills. The fight was very exciting. These youngsters from the 4 great clans are not bad. The younger generation will surpass us in time. We are old, and the future belongs to them. These people complimented each other. They did not notice that a little white monkey had appeared nearby. After Xiaobai arrived, she raised the treasure basin and waved it gently at the sky. Although flying was prohibited here, and Lin Xian and the rest couldn't fly, there were no restrictions for Little White. When he got close, the treasure bowl enlarged and enveloped the blue sparrow. In the next instant, he quickly fled. The blue sky sparrow let out a mournful cry. A little monkey dared to attack him. It wanted to fight back, but the power of cornucopia directly enveloped it. The next moment, it fainted. Who was it? The 4 great clans below were still sparring when they suddenly realized that the blue sparrow had disappeared. This was taking drastic measures to deal with the situation. Someone dared to make a move in secret. Damn it, who was it? They quickly investigated and found that it was actually a little monkey. Go to hell. A great emperor struck out a palm and grabbed down from the air. The void shattered, and the sky collapsed, and the earth cracked. However, Little White suddenly sped up and dodged in an instant. Damn it, what a strange little monkey. Go after it. The masters of the 4 great clans chased after it in an overwhelming manner. Let's do it, Lin Xian and the others said. At the same time, he said to the zombie emperor, "Senior, don't make a move first. You are our trump card." The zombie emperor nodded. Indeed, there was an expert with 2 divine fires hiding on their side. No one knew about it. At that time, a surprise attack would definitely have an unexpected effect. Lin Xian took out the sky-devouring jar and waved it forward. A black vortex covered the sky and the earth, enveloping the people of the 4 great clans. Get lost. The Yufeng family opened their mouths and cast out a dark storm. The black storm swept across the sky, blooming with unparalleled power. In the sky, there were tens of thousands of meters of black saber light. They tore the sky and the earth apart, fighting against the black vortex. Not only that, there were flames, lightning, and all kinds of strange phenomena. At this time, Xueqi also made a move. Ice danced in the sky. Xia Juyo and the Juyo beast also made a move. Their power was extremely terrifying. They collided with the people of the 4 great clans. Suddenly, the sky fell and the earth cracked. Countless exclamations sounded. There was more than one great emperor. Damn it, who was it? Which family was it? How dare they fight against them? After the four great clans joined forces, they didn't seem to be afraid of anyone except the Xia family. Logically speaking, no one dared to fight against them. In the next moment, Little White came to Lin Xian's side and said, "I caught him." "Well done," Lin Xian said with a smile. Then he waved his hand and said, "Let's go." These people couldn't fly. They could only shuttle under the ground. They were like lightning. Behind them, the people of the Yufeng family formed two dark wings. They took the crowd and glided quickly on the ground. Their speed was very fast. When they saw them, there were only a few of them. "Damn it, it's that young swordsman, Lin Wudi. Damn it, those people. Look at me." A great emperor of the Yufeng family roared angrily. He emitted a terrifying thunder, which made the void tremble. It seemed that he couldn't bear this power at all. Thunder fell. With a roar, thunder fell from the sky, forming a chain of lightning. It spread out in front of him. The terrifying aura instantly enveloped Lin Xian and the others. "Get lost." Lin Xian split the sky with his sword, splitting the thunder in the sky. "Go." The snow chest was covered with ice. He used the cold air to slow down the opponent's speed. At the same time, they quickly left. Damn it, did they let them escape? Behind them, the people of the four great clans were stunned. These people were not ordinary people. "Humph, damn it, catch them. We can't let them escape." They continued to chase after him. Look at the power of our Yufeng family. The powerhouses and great emperors of the Yufeng family took action one after another. They formed a terrifying earth array. The whole ground was covered by lightning. Lin Xian and the others were naturally also covered. Not good. Lin Xian and the others' faces changed, because after being touched by this lightning, their bodies began to change. This power was different from the previous thunder. The thunder was destructive, as if it wanted to tear everything apart. But the lightning had a paralyzing effect. Their originally smooth movements actually stopped after they became numb. This could be said to be fatal in a battle between great emperors. These clans were indeed not ordinary. In an instant, the people behind them were close. Go to hell. The people of the four great clans attacked crazily. At this time, the corpse emperor made his move. He stretched out his palms. His zombie-like palms covered the sky and earth, sending many people flying. The people of the four great clans vomited blood. Damn it, what was going on? There was an even more terrifying expert. They didn't know before. So, many people were seriously injured with this attack. That's great. The unexpected attack was indeed effective. Lin Xian laughed. The dragon soul in his body erupted, letting out a terrifying roar. The Qianquan sword technique. All things as swords. On the surrounding ground, the fragments of the weapons from the battle back then were all controlled. They rose into the air, turning into one peerless sword light after another. They flew forward. Chapter 6059. A terrifying dragon's roar resounded in all directions. The people of the wind, fire, thunder, and lightning families were so shocked that their blood was boiling. Their eyes widened. Where did the dragon's roar come from? Not only them, but the other explorers in the entire ancient city were also stunned. They all turned their heads and looked into the distance. What a terrifying dragon's roar. Could it be that some ancient dragon had appeared in this ancient city? The people of the Xia family also stopped. The Xia clan head frowned slightly. He could also feel an extremely sharp force. Beside him, the torch dragon's eyes burst out with a trace of cold light. This aura, could it be? It seemed that his guess was right. A figure appeared in his mind. He snorted coldly. Could it really be that thing? A dragon's roar shocked everyone. However, at this moment, another dragon's roar came from the ruins around Lin Xian. Then, a white light soared into the sky. It turned into a huge monster in the air. Oh my God! What was that? The nine netherworld beast was shocked. He also felt a sense of horror. Everyone turned their heads to look. In the next moment, they were stunned. They found that this white light had turned into a white dragon, baring its fangs and brandishing its claws. The dragon scales on its body were like sword chi, flickering nonstop. A dragon, a real dragon had appeared. The people of the wind, fire, thunder, and lightning families were surprised. Even Lin Xian was stunned. It was not a real dragon, but a dragon's soul. Moreover, it seemed to be an ancient dragon's soul. Could it be a dragon expert who had fallen in the great battle back then? The white dragon's soul floated in the void. It stared at Lin Xian and an old voice sounded. I can sense the formidable power of the Tao of Dragons from you. Use your soul to help me be reborn. He roared and rushed towards Lin Xian. Great, this kid. Wait for death. The people of the four great families sneered. They wanted to rush over and kill him secretly. However, this was the white dragon's tail. Like a heavenly knife, it sent the people of the four great families flying. Stupid thing, get out of here. A cold voice sounded. The people of the four great clans were so angry that they vomited blood. You're already dead, and only a remnant soul is left. What's there to be proud of? I'll let the two of you fight first. When both of you are injured, I will kill all of you. They gritted their teeth. As for the white dragon soul, it was already charging towards Lin Xian. Although its body was huge, its speed was extremely fast. In the blink of an eye, he was right in front of Lin Xian. At the same time, its claws reached for Lin Xian's forehead. From the looks of it, he wanted to devour Lin Xian's soul. Lin Xian snorted coldly and raised his hand to release a beam of sword chi. The sword chi of the dragon god flew out and slashed at the dragon claw with an incomparably sharp aura. When the two collided, a thunderous sound was heard. The white dragon claw was actually sent flying. The white dragon was also rolling in the sky. It rolled into the distance. How could this be? To think that your strength would be so strong. Who are you? The white dragon was extremely surprised. Lin Xian snorted coldly. I'll let you see my dragon soul. After saying that, Lin Xian's eyes erupted with an extremely terrifying light that enveloped the white dragon. The white dragon's body trembled. It saw a strange scene in Lin Xian's eyes. It was a dragon-shaped long sword that stood between heaven and earth. The power on it was enough to destroy everything. This was a great dragon, an invincible power. The white dragon was completely stunned. Its body began to tremble. Greetings, ancestor. Its enormous body actually began to kowtow. The surrounding people were all stunned. The people of the four great clans were about to have their eyes fall out. Damn it, what did I just see? The remnant soul of the ancient white dragon was actually kowtowing to a young man and calling him ancestor. This was impossible. Those powerhouses roared. This white dragon was very likely to have fallen in an ancient battle millions of years ago. How old was this young man? How could he be the other party's ancestor? It seemed that this white dragon's brain must have been flooded with water. There must be something wrong with its mental state. The people of the four great clans gritted their teeth and said, Lin Xian said, since you've already recognized me, do you still dare to attack me? No, I won't dare to anymore. The white dragon shook its head frantically. Please, ancestor, spare my life. The power of the great dragon was not something it could resist. Back then, it was no match for it at its peak. Not to mention that it only had some remnant souls left. Lin Xian said, Okay, however, do one thing for me. The four great clans opposite are my enemies. Go and attack them. No problem. It's my honor to work for you, ancestor. After saying that, the white dragon's soul turned and charged toward the four great clans. The aura of the path of dragon on his body kept erupting. Every time, it was earth-shattering and destructive. Boom, boom. The people of the 4 great clans were instantly impacted. Damn it, these people roared madly. Some of them were directly sent flying, coughing up large mouthfuls of blood. Quickly counterattack. The people from the 4 great clans also made their moves. Although the white dragon was a remnant soul from a great battle 1,000,000 years ago, it was still a white dragon. However, the situation of the 4 great clans was not good either because they were not in peak condition. Previously, in order to decipher the formation, he had been duped by the Xia clan, resulting in him losing half of his bloodline ability. Thus, at this moment, they could only clench their teeth and resist. A great battle broke out in an instant. It was extremely intense. The corners of Lin Xian's mouth rose. Let's go. This time, without the pursuit of the 4 great clans, they quickly left this place and arrived at a safe place. Lin Xian took out the blue sparrow. The blue sparrow's true body grew larger. Everyone jumped onto its back. Take off, Lin Xian said. He controlled the blue sparrow. The blue sparrow spread its wings and danced in the air. Lin Xian said, fly higher. He felt that there was indeed the power of the immortal chi fragments in the sky. He could absorb them to improve his immortal chi seed. In the following time, Lin Xian began to frantically collect these immortal chi fragments. The immortal chi seed in his left eye was becoming more and more mysterious. Soon, he would be able to reach the peak after absorbing a little more. At that time, he would not be far from breaking through. On the other hand, Lin Xian was happily collecting energy to improve himself. On the other hand, the people from the 4 great clans were in a miserable state. In the end, they joined forces and attacked with the power of wind, fire, thunder, and lightning. A destructive light appeared and sent the white dragon flying. The white dragon roared and was also injured. However, it did not escape. He said, I will never allow you to hurt the ancestor. Damn it, this guy is crazy. Don't fight with him. Let's go somewhere else. The next time we meet that kid, we'll deal with him. The people from the 4 great clans knew that it was impossible for them to pursue Lin Xian now. They could only give up. Sure enough, when they took another path, the white dragon did not kill them. Instead, it stayed in the void. It looked into the distance. This time, it helped the ancestor. In the future, when the ancestor recovers to his peak, perhaps he will help me. It's also good to be reborn. The white dragon had hope in its heart. In the next moment, it turned into a ray of light. It returned to the ruins. Chapter 6060. On Lin Xian's side, they continued on their way. A rainbow vortex appeared in the sky in front of them. The light there was very dazzling. Clearly, there was something extremely good in the vortex. The immortal chi seed in Lin Xian's left eye started to twitch. He felt a huge amount of immortal chi power. Let's go over there and take a look. Lin Xian controlled the blue sparrow and flew towards that place. Soon, he arrived near the rainbow vortex. In the rainbow vortex, he found a flower, the immortal spirit flower. After the zombie emperor saw it, he was extremely surprised. He said, Kid, can you give me half? This immortal spirit flower had 7 petals. No problem. Everyone who saw it would have a share. Lin Xian gave a petal to the people around him, except for Butian and Xia Xingchen, who were not strong enough to use it. Everyone else had a share. After all, these people had followed Lin Xian all the way. They had worked together to get to where they were today. Thank you, the zombie emperor said. The 9 netherworld beasts and the others were also happy. It was indeed the right decision for Lin Xian to be so generous as to follow the other party around. Lin Xian took out a petal of the immortal spirit flower and placed it in his left eye. Immediately, the immortal chi seed shook violently and began to absorb the immortal chi power on it. The great Tao patterns on the immortal chi seed became even more mysterious. At this moment, There were already 8 mysterious lines. Each and every one of them contained an astonishing amount of power. This was great. This time, I might be able to raise the immortal chi seed to the same level as the divine fire seed. Kid, hand over what you got. At this moment, a roar suddenly came from below. The few of them looked down. There was a group of people below. These people had extremely terrifying phantoms of the sea. They were from the ghastly water tribe. Pfft! You want us to go down just because you want us to? Come up if you can. The 9 netherworld beasts sneered. If you can't come up, come and bite me. He was very smug. After all, this place forbade flying. Those people below, even great emperors, probably couldn't fly up. Humph, do you think we don't have a way? Although the people from the Serene Water tribe didn't come up, they took out something. It was a broken bottle that was covered with cracks. However, when the martial monarchs poured their immortal aura into the bottle began to tremble. Immediately, the bottle began to emit a terrifying radiance. Several black balls of light flew out and headed straight for Lin Xian and the others. Damn it, how is this possible? The 9 netherworld beasts and the others were all stunned. After all, not only was flying prohibited in this place, but even the power of laws could not reach the sky. But now, the other party had done it. What was going on? Lin Xian and the others controlled the blue sparrow to dodge quickly. He dodged a few terrifying balls of light. Their faces were cold. The corpse emperor said, "It's very likely that they picked up this weapon in the ruins of the ancient city. After all, a heaven-shaking battle had taken place here in the past. It was a weapon left behind by an unparalleled expert. So that's how it is. Damn it. No wonder they were so arrogant." The people from the Serene Water tribe below saw this scene and laughed. What do you think? Although we can't go up, we can beat you down. Be good and hand over the treasure you got. They also saw the rainbow vortex and could feel the shocking aura coming from it. They were thinking of a way to get the treasure inside when they saw a group of people flying over from afar. These people could fly. The people from the Serene Water tribe were extremely envious. In this place, whoever could fly would have an innate advantage. Thus, the next thing they saw was those people taking out a flower that resembled an immortal flower blooming in the immortal realm. Then, these people divided the flower among themselves. The people below were naturally incomparably furious. That was why the scene before had occurred. "Kid, you must be the genius youth. Do you dare to fight me one-on-one? If I win, hand over your things. Give us this demon beast, and we'll let you leave alive. Otherwise, don't blame us for being rude. One-on-one?" Lin Xian glanced at them and said, "You're not even a great emperor. Where did you get the courage to fight me one-on-one? Let a great emperor come out. If I win, you'll give me your treasured bottle. How about that? Kid, you're asking for too much." The people from the Serene Water tribe gritted their teeth. Lin Xian sneered, "Don't you want this flying demon beast too? How about it? Do you dare? Swear with your Tao hearts." Okay. The people from the Serene Water tribe discussed for a while and nodded in agreement. They decided to send out a powerful great emperor. "We won't bully you. We'll choose a 10,000-year-old great emperor to deal with you." After speaking, a figure walked out. Deep blue great emperor. He wore blue armor, and even his hair was blue. His aura was extremely terrifying. When he walked out, there was actually an endless amount of seawater swirling in his eyes. He stared at Lin Xian in the sky and said coldly, "Kid, come down and fight with me. I'll fulfill your wish." Lin Xian's body swayed, and he jumped down from the sky. The moment Lin Xian came down, Deep Blue Great Emperor attacked. He threw out a punch. An extremely terrifying immortal chi appeared on his fist. This was the true power of a great emperor. The punch seemed to have transformed into an ocean of immortal islands, shrouding the entire sky. Everyone felt a heavy power. The seawater was too heavy. It was more terrifying than 100,000 mountains. In an instant, the seawater covered Lin Xian. Seeing the scene, the people from the Serene Water tribe all laughed. This kid will definitely die if he's covered by the deep blue water. Yes, after a great emperor is covered, it won't take long for him to melt into a pool of blood. Not to mention that this kid isn't even a great emperor. He'll die in an instant. This demon beast is ours. With it, we can collect the resources and treasures in the sky. The people from the Serene Water tribe were very happy. After seeing this, Deep Blue Great Emperor snorted. Trash, I thought you were some kind of genius. You can't even block one of my punches. Lin Xian was covered by the deep blue water. He felt an endless power bombarding his body, as if to tear him into pieces. However, Lin Xian's body didn't shatter. Instead, he looked at the surrounding seawater curiously. It's so heavy, but it can't hurt me. With a wave of his hand, he sent a wave of seawater flying. Then, he walked on the surface of the seawater. How is this possible? The Deep Blue Emperor was dumbfounded when he saw this. Great emperors of the same level couldn't move at all. They would feel extremely uncomfortable, and their bodies would crack. However, this kid's body was completely fine. Damn it, how can this be? The people from the Serene Water tribe were also stunned. Could it be that Deep Blue Great Emperor is holding back? Great Emperor, please kill him with all your strength. Some young people roared crazily. I know, Deep Blue Great Emperor roared and punched out 2 more times. Suddenly, a terrifying blue phantom appeared above and around him. It was like a cage. It firmly locked Lin Xian. Chapter 60-61. Kid, let's see how you're going to die this time. The Deep Blue Emperor roared crazily. Lin Xian sneered. Really? He stretched out a finger and flicked it lightly. The power of the great dragon sword soul in his body burst out. Divine power, sword flicking finger. A streak of sword energy flew out from his fingertip. Like a divine dragon, it rushed forward instantly. It tore apart the dark blue seawater in the sky. Not only that, after rushing out of the dark blue seawater, this streak of sword energy didn't disappear. Instead, it went straight for the Deep Blue Emperor. The Deep Blue Emperor's expression changed. He quickly dodged, but his shoulder was still pierced through and turned into a bloody mist. He let out a scream and covered his wound with his hand. Behind him, a few young geniuses didn't escape. They were directly pierced through and killed, their bodies and souls destroyed. What's going on? The surrounding people went crazy. The other party only flicked his finger lightly, and their great emperor was injured. Moreover, a few other geniuses were also affected and died directly. Damn it. This brat's strength was too strong. Your great emperor is too weak. He can't even resist a finger of mine. Lin Xian shook his head. You've lost. Hand over your treasure bottle. You. The Deep Blue Emperor trembled with anger. I'll fight you to the death. He wanted to go up and fight with his life. However, an elder behind him said, Stop. You've lost. Give it to him, and let's go. The one who spoke was the leader of the Ghastly Water Clan. At this moment, his face was terrifyingly dark. However, he was smart enough to know that fighting with his life wouldn't make up for the loss. Kid, this is for you, but you have to be alive to enjoy it. The next time we meet, we'll take it back with interest. After saying that, he left with his people. Lin Xian took the treasure bottle and felt it. He was instantly delighted. With this thing, they could fly in the sky and sweep the ground. Let's go. The group of people quickly left on the Blue Sparrow. These people were very happy. For example, after Xueqi and Xia, Jiu got the petals of the immortal spirit flower. They felt a sense of relief. He could also sense that the immortal qi in his body had become stronger than before. Even the corpse emperor was beaming with joy. Let me see where the treasures are. This kind of cultivation speed was dozens of times faster than outside. Lin Xian's gains were the greatest. His immortal qi seed had become extremely mysterious. A day later, they stopped again. This time, they saw something else. It was an item floating in midair. It was a palm-sized jade slip. It was actually immortal jade. When the corpse emperor saw this, he exclaimed. The 9 netherworld beasts said, "Hurry up and rush over. I can feel the immortal qi above that is even stronger than the immortal flower." They increased their speed. However, when they arrived, they saw that there were already quite a few clans in the vicinity. They started a great battle and began to fight for the celestial jades. Among them, the Xia clan was the strongest. The great elder led the experts of the Xia family and swept through all 4 directions against the power of a great emperor. All of you, scram. This is something that the Xia clan has taken a liking to. The Xia clan was very powerful. In the end, they defeated the people around them. The first elder led his men towards the immortal jade. He reached out his big hand and was about to grab it. However, at this moment, a terrifying roar came from the sky. Immediately after, a few black balls of light descended. Like meteorites and meteors, they carried a powerful force and covered the sky and earth as they charged towards the first elder. The first elder's expression changed. Feeling the power above, he didn't resist it. His body swayed, and he quickly dodged. At the same time, he roared, "Who is it? How dare you stop me? Do you only want to be enemies with the Xia clan?" The others were also surprised. The attack came from the sky. Wasn't flying forbidden? Who could go to the sky? They all raised their heads and looked over. The next moment, they saw a demonic beast flying in the sky. On the back of the demonic beast stood a few figures. At the front was a handsome young man. At this moment, his black hair fluttered in the wind, and he was in high spirits. It was the young sword god. His name was Lin Wudi. He actually dared to challenge the Xia clan. When the first elder saw this, his face darkened again. "It's you again." Last time, Lin Xian refused their orders, which made them very unhappy. At that time, they wanted to make a move. However, Zhu Long said that finding the celestial pool was the most important thing, so he didn't make a move. They didn't expect that this time, the other party would dare to snatch the treasure they wanted. This was unforgivable. "Kid, do you want to die?" The first elder said coldly, "Does this treasure belong to your clan? This is an ownerless item. Whoever is stronger will get it. Don't be too overbearing." "Do you really think that I don't dare to do anything to your clan? Take your people and get lost. I'll spare your lives." Lin Xian stood in the sky, his voice extremely arrogant. "Spare our lives? I think you don't know what's good for you." The first elder was angry. He reached out his hand and grabbed at the sky. Lin Xian stood there, not moving at all. The reason for that was because the palm was sealed by a mysterious power when it arrived in midair. "It's useless. Don't you know that the sky forbids all power? Of course, we are an exception." The first elder gritted his teeth. The other people were also discussing, how did this kid get up there? That's right. Not only her, but all of them also went up. There's something wrong with that demonic beast of his. Countless voices of discussion could be heard. The first elder said to the people around him, "Ignore him. Take this immortal jade first. The mysterious aura on it could increase their immortal qi. Therefore, they wouldn't give up." The people of the Xia family were ready to make a move on the immortal jade. In the sky, Lin Xian took out the treasure bottle. He injected the power of the laws into it, Shui Qi, Xia Juyo, and the others also injected the power of immortal qi into it. Suddenly, the treasure bottle shone. Countless black balls of light flew over again. This time, there were more than 100 of them. They carried with them ancient power and fell crazily. The void was in a complete uproar. Endless cracks appeared. as if the world was about to be destroyed. The terrifying black balls of light could sweep everything away. All of them rushed toward the people of the Xia family. At this moment, the people of the Xia family were stunned. What is this? Hurry up and run. They ran crazily. However, they were still affected by the impact. The first elder was sent flying. Cracks appeared on his body, and blood dyed his body red. He was so angry that he went crazy. Ah, little brat, I'm going to kill you. I will never forgive you. Kill you? Old thing, you're in high spirits, aren't you? Lin Xian specifically aimed at the first elder. The black balls of light kept falling. The first elder kept dodging, but he still couldn't avoid them. He was hit by some of the black balls of light. He was knocked back and vomited blood. The injuries on his body became even worse. This was a passive attack. Lin Xian could injure the other party. However, the other party couldn't fly up and they couldn't hit the sky. They could only keep dodging. It was so frustrating. Little brat, come down and fight me if you have the guts. The first elder was so angry that he went crazy. Lin Xian sneered. Aren't you very powerful? Isn't the Xia family high and mighty? Come up and fight. Chapter 60-62. The surrounding people were dumbfounded when they saw this scene. The Xia family, they were so arrogant and high above everyone else. They had never been at a disadvantage like now. And the one who suppressed the Xia family was not another powerful family or sect. It was just a young man. This world was crazy. How could young people be so powerful? Apart from the first elder, the Xia family had two other emperors. How could they be beaten so badly that they could not even fight back? The first elder and the others gritted their teeth and cursed. However, Lin Xian did not go down. Not only that, he used the bottle to attack while letting the blue sparrow land near the immortal jade. Then he waved his hand and kept the immortal jade. Let's go! Lin Xian and the others soared into the sky. Damn it! The first elder and the others were so angry that they vomited blood. Were they going to watch the treasure be taken away just like that? And there was nothing they could do. However, at this moment, a huge palm came from afar. It covered the sky and went straight for the 9 heavens. The sky was shattered. A vast power swept through everything. It was an expert with 2 strands of immortal qi. It was the Xia family's clan leader. When the surrounding people saw this scene, they cried out in surprise. That's great. The first elder and the others laughed. Kid, wait for your death. Their clan leader was extremely powerful. It was definitely not something the other party could imagine. This attack was too sudden. Even Lin Xian and the others were shocked. Light surrounded the palm as if it was a star map. Xia, Jiu exclaimed. This seemed to be starlight illuminating the 9 underworlds. It was an extremely terrifying technique. Let me do it. At this moment, he made his move. He was also someone who had cultivated 2 strands of immortal qi. He did not fight back directly. Instead, he waved his hand and hit the void, forming a force that pushed them back. They dodged the palm by a hair's breadth. Where could they go? After the Xia family's clan leader arrived, he led the Xia family to chase after them. Let's go and follow them. The rest of the people followed suit. Lin Xian and the others flew quickly in the sky, dodging constantly. When the people of the wind, fire, thunder, and lightning clans saw this scene, they all roared, "Damn it, it's that brat. Let's go, kill him, and avenge our great emperor." Before them, a martial monarch had fallen because of this kid. Even now, their hearts were still bleeding. He had to kill the other party in order to vent the hatred in his heart. Not long after, the people of the Serene Water Clan also came. They roared, "Despicable brat, hand over our bottle." "Oh heavens," the others exclaimed. "How many families has this kid offended?" 6 clans and sections. Among them was the Xia family, a silent overlord. How many lives does he have? So reckless. They all chased after him. They wanted to see what kind of fate Lin Wuyi would have in the end. Xia Qianyu attacked again, but with the help of the corpse emperor, he dodged. The 9 netherworld beast looked back and laughed heartily. How was it? They can't catch up with us, can they? There was no way around it. It was just that powerful. You can't beat me. La la, la, la la la. The 9 netherworld beast was so cocky. It winked anxiously and taunted him crazily. His voice was loud and clear, spreading in all directions. Everyone was dumbfounded. The people of the Xia family were so angry that they vomited blood. The martial monarchs' faces were as black as the bottom of a pot, especially the patriarch Xia Tianyu, who attacked crazily. He slapped out 3 more times. His goal was to kill the 9 netherworld beast. The 9 netherworld beast was startled. "Senior, hurry up and do it," he said secretly. The corpse emperor merged his hands into the void and tore a few cracks in the void, dodging the attacks. The 9 netherworld beast heaved a sigh of relief and laughed proudly again. "All of you can come at me together. I'm not afraid." Everyone was speechless. This guy was too naughty. Even Lin Xian and the others had strange expressions. These words would probably anger the Xia family to death. As expected, the first elder spat out a mouthful of blood. Damn it, his voice was hoarse. Since when had the Xia family ever suffered such grievances? The patriarch of the Xia family roared, "9 netherworld beast, I'll remember this. Just you wait. I won't let you go." "I know. I'm so scared." The 9 netherworld beast looked scared. Then he said to the people below, "Fellow Taoists, I'm in trouble. I'm being chased by a group of mad dogs. Please tell me what to do." The people around them all laughed. This guy was too naughty. Lin Xian was also amused. "Aren't you afraid that the Xia family will settle the score? The 9 netherworld beast clan can't run away." The 9 netherworld beasts said, "Of course I'm afraid of him. Our 9 netherworld beast clan is very powerful. Okay?" No matter how powerful the Xia family was, they couldn't sweep the entire 9 netherworld continent. He could only act arrogantly in one of the regions. "We're not afraid of him at all." After saying that, the 9 netherworld beast mocked again. In short, the members of the Xia family were infuriated. This time, the patriarch of the Xia family was completely provoked. He roared, and the 2 strands of immortal qi on his body burned. He was going to kill the 9 netherworld beast at all costs. Damn it, the 9 netherworld beast was scared this time. He quickly jumped back and said, "Hurry, hurry, run, Xia Juyo," and the others were speechless. "Who told you to be naughty again? This time, the other party will fight you to the death, right?" The corpse emperor said, "There's a palace ahead. Let's go in." There was a black palace there. It was unknown what sort of metal it was made of. "Go in and hide." Xia Qinyu, who was behind them, was really angry. They'd better hide for the time being. Therefore, in an instant, they rushed into the black palace below. "You can't run away. I'll kill you even if you're at the end of the world. I'll catch you and tear you to pieces." Xia Qinyu also rushed in. The people of the Xia family followed, and the others also followed in. However, in the next moment after entering, they were stunned. "Damn it, why is it so dark? Who put the law here? Get out of here, or I'll be angry." The first elder of the Xia family roared. The strong masters who followed behind were also stunned. If it's not the Xia family, then who is it? The emperor of the Netherfire clan said, "Isn't it simple? The Netherfire burned the 9 heavens." He snapped his fingers, and immediately terrifying flames spread out in all directions. Not to mention a palace. Even a world could be enveloped by it in an instant. Everyone could hear the rumbling sound of the raging flames burning the void. There was also an aura that was so hot that their bodies were about to crack. However, it was still pitch black in front of them. They couldn't even see their fingers. The people of the Netherfire clan frowned. "What emperor? You're too weak. You can't even make a fire. Let me show you the deep-sea pearl of our Netherfire clan." The deep blue martial monarch waved his hand and took out a blue orb. This was a pearl they had obtained from the endless sea. It was a shell that had lived for 30,000 years. What it spat out was definitely a treasure. As soon as it appeared, it should bring with it a brilliant blue light. However, the deep blue emperor was dumbfounded. There was no light around. It was pitch black, as if someone had covered his eyes. What was going on? Could it be that the pearl from 30,000 years ago was broken? At this moment, everyone was stunned. Chapter 60-63. The mysterious palace, the boundless darkness, and the eerie atmosphere made everyone's hair stand on end. The great emperors were all stunned. They had never seen such an outrageous thing. They couldn't even see their own fingers here. The Xia family was the most furious. They had come here to kill Lin Xian, but now they couldn't see him at all. The great elder roared, "Boy, come and fight me if you have the guts." However, no one responded. To be honest, Lin Xian and the others were also very surprised. After they came in, they also encountered darkness. But now they couldn't see anything. Lin Xian had the 9 Suns' divine flame, but he still couldn't do anything. What a strange place. Lin Xian furrowed his brows. Even the corpse emperor said, "I can feel that my power is also being suppressed." This palace wasn't ordinary. It was very likely that there had been an Earth immortal in the past. He tried using his soul. Lin Xian released his soul. The others also did the same. Xueqi said, "No, the suppression is too strong. I can only see things around me. I can't see anything further." Lin Xian had the Rinnegan, so he was a little better than them. He could see 2 or 3 times further than them. However, that was all. More importantly, they had just come in. Who knew what would happen if they went further inside? Boom. At this moment, the palace's door closed with a bang. The others were all stunned. "Damn it, who closed the door? Damn it, open it!" They attacked the door madly. However, no matter how hard they attacked, the surroundings were still pitch black. "Not good. We are trapped here. Everyone stay together. Don't separate," Lin Xian said in a deep voice. Then Xueqi shot out some ice chains and wrapped them around everyone's wrists. Although they couldn't see anything, they wouldn't be separated. Since there was no way back, they could only go forward. They were also very curious. What kind of existence was inside this palace? They hadn't found the celestial pool of creation. Could it be here? They all became excited when they thought of this possibility. So they slowly walked forward. Lin Xian and the others walked at the front. Next, it was the Xia family and then the other families. However, after entering, everyone moved very slowly. Therefore, the formation gradually changed. Lin Xian has Rinnegan, so he can perceive several times more than others. Therefore, he was prepared to make a move now to take revenge on the other party. He deliberately slowed down and arrived beside the first elder. Then he slapped the first elder. With a slap, the first elder was slapped in the face. Immediately, he roared madly, "Damn it, who dares to sneak attack me? Which kid was it?" He roared angrily and quickly counterattacked. Extremely terrifying black lightning circled around him. He was like the god of thunder, possessing the power of destruction. He charged in Lin Xian's direction. However, Lin Xian had already left, and that place became the place where the fire demon race resided. Thus, in the next instant, the fire demon clan's clan chief roared crazily. "Damn it, are you crazy? How dare you sneak attack me? Get lost! He slapped out terrifying flames with both hands, blooming with scorching light. Although he couldn't see the light, he could feel the terrifying aura. The two collided, producing an earth-shaking sound. The first elder was injured again. The Xia family's clan chief roared angrily. No one can see clearly in the darkness. It's not a good time to start a war. The Fire Demon clan's clan chief snorted coldly. The first elder also gritted his teeth, but not long after, he was slapped again. The first elder roared crazily. Damn kid, come out if you have the guts. This wasn't the end. Next, the other elders of the Xia family were also affected. Everyone was slapped in the face. However, they couldn't find Lin Xian's position at all. How is this possible? In the darkness, we can't see anything clearly. He is just a young boy. How can he see clearly? Everyone was stunned. Those great emperors felt their hair stand on end. Someone said, "Could it be that kid? Could there be something else in the hall?" Thinking of this, everyone was even more shocked. If it was Lin Xian, it would be fine. If it was something else, then it would be troublesome. But then, they denied it. It must be Lin Xian, because other than the Xia family, the great emperors of the wind, fire, thunder, and lightning families, as well as the dark clouds and the ghastly water clan, were all slapped in the face. That's right, it was Lin Xian who did it. Lin Xian's Rinnegan had an advantage over others here. So, he attacked crazily. Those people were so angry that they vomited blood. They couldn't fight back at all. Instead, the other party was very despicable. He specialized in slapping faces. He made them lose face. For a time, in the darkness, all kinds of slaps sounded. When the 9 netherworld beasts and the others learned of the situation, they were all gloating. However, no one dared to make a sound. They were also afraid of being sneak attacked. After slapping a circle of faces, Lin Xian returned and said, "It's about time. Let's continue forward." They set off quickly. However, in the darkness, they didn't go first. Instead, they lagged behind. After all, the dangers ahead were unknown. That decision was truly the correct one. What happened next shocked all of them. Suddenly, there was a scream in front of them. Then, a terrifying aura erupted. It was like a vast sea that swept through the 9 heavens. What's going on? Who's attacking us? The ghastly water clan roared crazily. The Xia family's first elder said, "It's that Lin Wudi. Damn it, I won't forgive him." The deep blue emperor let out a resentful voice. However, in the next moment he screamed again. His aura was getting weaker and weaker. Oh no, is the deep blue emperor going to die? The others also felt their blood run cold. The ghastly water clan roared, "Lin Wudi, I won't let you go. Our family will hunt you down forever." "What's going on?" Xueqi asked telepathically. "Husband, did you attack again?" Lin Xian shook his head. "It wasn't me." "Damn it, someone attacked secretly." "Does he want me to take the blame?" "Who is it? Could it be the Xia family?" Lin Xian frowned. "The Xia family's first elder probably has the strength to frame me." However, at this moment, the deep blue emperor suddenly said in a weak voice, "This thing wants to take me away. Patriarch, save me." Before he could finish his words, he was pulled into the distance by something. The friction between the body and the ground created a thunderous sound. They started to chase. The ghastly water clan's first elder roared. He would never allow the great emperor of his family to die. "Damn Lin Wudi, we won't forgive him. We'll chase him too." These people had been slapped in the face by Lin Xian before, so they were also furious. They all chased after him. Lin Xian followed. He wanted to see who was framing him. They followed him all the way, surrounded by darkness. They didn't know how long they had been walking. Finally, they stopped. Shock appeared in their eyes, because there was light in front. A ball of white flame floated in the air, emitting a pale light. Although it was scary, it was better than darkness. The surrounding families all laughed. Great, there's finally a flame. If they found Lin Wuti, he would definitely die. They looked around and soon saw Lin Xian and the others. Kid, go to hell. In an instant, many great emperors attacked Lin Xian together. Lin Xian and the others' faces changed. There are so many people, the situation is really bad. However, at the critical moment, the zombie emperor made a move. He slapped out, and the great emperors of the surrounding families were all shocked. These great emperors were all knocked back. How is it possible? Who is this person? He must have cultivated 2 strands of immortal qi. This kid is such an expert by his side. The people of the Xia family were also shocked. The Xia family's first elder's eyes burst with an extremely cold light as he stared at the zombie emperor. He frowned and asked, "Sir, you attacked my Xia family before, right?" Chapter 60-64. That's right. The zombie emperor didn't deny it. I do have a grudge against the Xia family, but we didn't do the Ghastly Water Clan. Who else could it be? You've slapped us in the face before. The Ghastly Water Clan leader roared crazily. Lin Xian also snorted. If we attacked, we would have killed him in one blow. The Deep Blue Emperor didn't even have a chance to beg for mercy. How could he have given him a chance to report? The Ghastly Water Emperor trembled with anger. Was he looking down on the great emperor of his family? The Xia family leader also roared, "Don't be fooled by this kid. Let's attack together and kill him." So what if Qin Wentian had 2 experts with immortal qi beside him? They also had one on their side, and more than one. In addition to the Xia family leader, Xia Qinyu, Zhulong also had 2 great emperors with immortal qi. However, Zhulong frowned and said, "Don't move. Look at what that is." With that, he waved his dragon claw and grabbed forward. A gust of wind blew, and the white flame in the air kept shaking. Then the crowd saw an inconceivable scene. One of the Deep Blue Emperor's arms was grabbed by a pair of black hands, then broken and eaten. Someone was gnawing on the great emperor's bones. What was that? It wasn't Lin Wuti. The people of the other families also exclaimed. It was an unknown creature. There was indeed something in the mysterious palace. "Get out of here." The Ghastly Water Clan leader roared and charged forward. The black figure dodged the attack with a sway of his body. He let out 2 low growls and disappeared into the darkness. "Are you okay?" The others also rushed over and looked at the Deep Blue Emperor. "You're a great emperor. Can't you beat him? Why didn't you fight back?" The Deep Blue Emperor said weakly, "I can't move. Take the cloth off me." Only then did everyone realize that there was a layer of black cloth covering the Deep Blue Emperor's body. "Get out of here." The Ghastly Water Clan leader reached out to grab the black cloth. However, Zhulong said, "Don't move," but it was too late. The Ghastly Water Clan leader had already caught it. The next moment, he let out a miserable shriek. His palm had completely rotted away. He let out a painful groan, smashed his palm, and grew a new one. His face was extremely pale. What was that? Just now, I actually felt my entire body go numb. Lin Xian and the others were also surprised. This black cloth was too strange. It could make a great emperor lose his battle prowess. Do you know what it is? The members of the Wind, Fire, Thunder, and Lightning families shook their heads. The faces of the Dark Cloud's tribe members turned ugly as well. Even the members of the Xia family were frowning. They had no idea. At this time, the great dragon sword spirit was surprised. There was actually a shroud here. Lin Xian was stunned. He said, "Delong, you know?" Delong nodded. "The shroud is a terrifying existence." They had once enveloped an extremely ancient and mysterious expert. Therefore, he had some special abilities. Once covered by the shroud, it was very likely that one would rot and become a corpse. Even great emperors were not spared. It was so terrifying. Lin Xian was shocked. The next moment he stood out and said, "Now, you know it wasn't me, right?" The Ghost Water tribe leader gritted his teeth. The members of the Xia family also snorted. There was no danger for the time being. Lin Xian said, "This thing is called a shroud. It had once enveloped the bodies of countless experts. It has a mysterious power. If you want to save him, come and beg me." "What? A shroud?" The people around were surprised. The eyes of the Xia family leader and the candle dragon burst out with a cold light. Obviously, they had heard of this thing, but they didn't expect to see it with their own eyes. The Ghost Water Tribe leader had no choice but to come to Lin Xian's side. "Lin Gongzi, I've offended you before. I apologize to you. Please help me." Lin Gongzi, as a supreme great emperor and the leader of a tribe, the Nether Water Tribe leader was so lofty and arrogant. But at this moment, he had to lower his head and submit to Lin Xian. Lin Xian said, "I saved his life." Although he said it was to save the Deep Blue Emperor, Lin Xian actually wanted this shroud. This thing was so terrifying. It was a super-killing weapon in his hand. If he didn't like anyone, he could directly wrap them up and turn them into bones. "Don't beg him. I'll do it." Xia Qinyu walked out. He wouldn't give such a good thing to others. So he stretched out a hand. On his palm, there was an extremely terrifying black light emerging. It was like a dark star. It hit the shroud. The shroud shook, emitting a black light, as if to corrode the other's palm. The two were in a stalemate, and the surrounding void was shattered. Xia Tianyu was stunned. So powerful? The power of this shroud was beyond his imagination. He wanted to make another move. However, at this moment, a long sword slashed across, picked up the shroud, and then floated into the distance. How was it possible? Who was it? Xia Qinyu was dumbfounded. Who could take away the shroud so easily? He looked in the direction of the long sword and found that it was Lin Xian who made the move. This kid wasn't even a great emperor. Where did he get this power? He didn't know that Lin Xian's sword was the immortal slaying sword which had once killed an earth immortal, and the sword chi he used was the dragon-shaped sword chi of the great dragon sword soul, which had an indestructible power. With the combination of the two, taking away the shroud was not a problem at all. Good stuff. Lin Xian looked at the shroud in front of him and exclaimed. Then he raised his head and looked around. The other great emperors felt their hair stand on end. "Lin Gongzi, I think we had a misunderstanding before." The people of the Wuyun clan hurriedly smiled apologetically. The people of the Wind, Fire, Thunder, and Lightning clans also said, "Lin Gongzi, we were sorry before. We apologize to you here." The great emperors of these clans all apologized. They had no choice. If Lin Xian didn't like someone, he could throw this thing at them. No one could take it. The people of the Xia clan didn't apologize, but they were all facing a great enemy. Even the first elder was so scared that he took 3 steps back. "Humph!" Lin Xian snorted and carefully put away the shroud. He shot out a lot of sharp sword chi and surrounded it. Then he said, "Now that we are in this mysterious palace, we can't fight among ourselves. Let's work together." Yes, yes, yes. Lin Gongzi was right. The Wind, Fire, Thunder, and Lightning clans hurriedly nodded. They all secretly let out a sigh of relief. No matter how unhappy they were with Lin Xian, they didn't dare to do anything in this palace. The reason why Lin Xian didn't immediately fall out with these people was also because he was worried. The unknown creature that gnawed on the bone just now should be a ghoul. They had seen such things before. However, this single one was even more terrifying than the hundreds of thousands of them outside. Back then, ghouls had appeared in groups. Who knew how many ghouls there were in this palace? Once they encountered a group of ghouls, they really needed everyone to work together. So, Before they saw the creation celestial pool, they shouldn't fight. The Gloomwater clan leader also asked Lin Gongzi, "What do you think we should do next?" He had saved the Deep Blue Emperor, so he was very grateful at this moment. Hearing this, the first elder of the Xia clan was furious. "What does a young kid know? Why don't you ask the Xia clan?" These people had been led by the Xia clan, but now they were on Lin Xian's side. He was furious. Chapter 60-65. Xia Qianyu's face also darkened. A murderous intent appeared in his eyes, enveloping the surroundings. Suddenly, the scalps of the other families went numb. They were in a dilemma. On the one hand, they were afraid of the Xia family. At the same time, they were also afraid of the shroud in Lin Xian's hand. However, at this moment, Lin Xian smiled. "If you don't listen to me, do you think I'll listen to you? You don't even know what the shroud is. Do you know what to do next?" Of course, they had to walk forward. The first elder snorted. Lin Xian shook his head. "Nonsense, but there's darkness ahead. Can you walk? What's the big deal? Isn't there a flame?" As he spoke, the first elder reached out to grab the flame in the air. However, the flame seemed to have become transparent. His palm passed through the flame. How is that possible? He couldn't catch it. The others were also surprised. They all tried to catch the flame and found that they could only see it, but they couldn't catch it. Lin Xian sneered. "You can't even catch this flame. Why should others listen to you?" The first elder gritted his teeth. "Damn kid, can you catch it?" "Of course," Lin Xian said. "This flame is called the Ghost Bone Fire. It was a flame formed by the bones of a strong man after his death. So it has such an origin." The surrounding great emperors were surprised. The first elder snorted. "Nonsense. So many of them didn't know the origin of this flame. How could this kid know?" Lin Xian ignored him. This information was naturally given to him by Dalong. Dalong was an existence that swept across the ninth underworld. Naturally, he knew a lot of things. He even knew how to collect the Ghost Bone Fire. Lin Xian used his Rinnegan and summoned the White Bone Palm in the Sun Valley. Then the White Bone Palm waved, and the Ghost Bone Fire in the sky fell into the palm of his hand. It was over. He could summon it with a gentle wave of his hand. The surrounding great emperors were dumbfounded. Even Xia Qianyu furrowed her brows. "Let's go." Lin Xian led the way with the Bone Spectre Fire, and the others followed. What these people didn't know was that the Ghost Bone Fire could only be fused with bones. Flesh and blood couldn't be touched. This was also the reason why so many martial monarchs were unable to find anything. Flesh and blood could not bear it. The other great emperors from the other families followed Lin Xian. It was as if he was following the other party's lead. Instead, they had left the Xia family in the cold. Many members of the Xia family gritted their teeth. Xia Qianyu snorted coldly, and the killing intent in his eyes couldn't be contained. Next to him, Torch Dragon smiled. "This little guy is a little interesting." He then turned to Xia Qianyu and said, "Why are you in such a hurry?" The most important thing now was to find the creation celestial pool. Previously, we searched many places in the ancient city, but didn't find anything. I think since this palace is so mysterious, maybe the celestial lake of creation is inside. Let them explore in front of us. Xia Qianyu nodded. "All right, then let him live a little longer. When I find the celestial creation pool, I'll be the first to kill him." He led the members of the Xia family and followed. After the period it took an incense to burn, Lin Xian and the others came to a stop once again, because another ghost bone flame appeared in front of them. It was also suspended in midair. The others were overjoyed. This is great. After they obtained the second flame, they would have a certain amount of power and could act alone. Many people tried to make a move. "Kid, make a move quickly. Don't let these people snatch it away." The 9 netherworld beasts said. Lin Xian opened his rinnigan. He frowned slightly and didn't make a move, because he could see that there seemed to be unknown danger ahead. Someone next to him laughed and said, Lin Gongzi will take this flame. You don't mind, do you? Lin Xian smiled. It's okay. Do whatever you want. Great. The members of the Hidden Thunder family quickly made a move. The others also scrambled for it. But at this moment, a roar came from the darkness in the distance. Then it turned into a black storm and rushed over. Damn it! What's that? Not good. It's the monster that gnawed on the great emperor's bone. Retreat quickly. These people were frightened and retreated frantically. They retreated, their faces pale. Lin Xian also took a deep breath. It's here again, under the illumination of the ghost bone flame. Everyone could see clearly what it was. It was a ghoul. The people of the wind, fire, thunder, and lightning families exclaimed. The others also had ugly expressions on their faces. They had seen this thing in the ancient city before. It was very terrifying and specialized in gnawing on human bodies. A ghoul was nothing to be afraid of. Everyone planned to end the battle quickly. However, at this moment, many black shadows appeared around them, overlapping. They also let out a low roar. Not good, there's more than one. Damn it, I knew it. Ghouls appear in groups. We're in danger. Why don't we leave quickly? Some people were terrified. Even the great emperor had the intention to retreat now. Since you're here, don't think about leaving. A cold voice sounded, making people's hair stand on end. Lin Xian and the others were all surprised. Someone is talking. Who is it? Everyone turned their gazes to the front. They saw a person walking over. This figure was holding an ancient white lamp in his hand. There was a ghost bone flame jumping in it. This person was wearing ancient armor and looked very serious, like a zombie. There was a strange black light in his eyes. His voice was also very deep. It was as if two metal pieces were constantly colliding. Someone in this place, there was someone else besides them. Who was it? Did someone arrive before them? The people of the Xia family were shocked. The people of the other families were also on guard. Why doesn't this guy look like someone from our era? Could he be someone who stayed behind after the world-shaking battle? That was a battle 1,000,000 years ago. How terrifying must he be to survive until now? Who are you? Xia Qinyu asked in a deep voice. Me? The withered man smiled. I'm from the Immortal Sect. My name is Immortal Water. Immortal Sect? After hearing this, everyone frowned. I've never heard of such a sect. Xia Qinyu snorted. What Immortal Sect? You're just pretending to be mysterious. Immortal Water was also angry. That's because you're ignorant. You don't even know about the Immortal Sect. You people kneel on the ground obediently. How dare you disturb my master's rest? How dare you? Who is your master? How dare you make us kneel? The people of the Dark Cloud tribe also roared. The great emperors of the other families also snorted coldly. Even if they faced Xia Qinyu, they didn't need to kneel. No one could make them kneel. Immortal Water looked up to the sky and laughed. Stupid. My master is naturally the leader of the Immortal Sect, which is immortal. How dare you be disrespectful to immortal? I think you don't want to live anymore. Immortal? Everyone was surprised. Could it be an Earth Immortal? There was an Earth Immortal here. Everyone was terrified. Even Xia Qianyu's face changed drastically. Zhulong could no longer remain calm. Although they were powerful, they were no match for him. Although they were powerful, they were not enough to deal with an Earth Immortal. The other party could kill them with a single finger. Impossible. How could it be here? What about an Earth Immortal? Stupid. It seems that you don't know how powerful our Immortal Sect is. He waved his hand. The surrounding ghouls rushed up. Chapter 60-66. You can actually command ghouls. The surrounding great emperors were all stunned. Can these things be controlled by humans? Immortal water snorted coldly. This is the method of our gate of immortality. We raised these ghouls. Everyone was horrified when they heard this. Does the gate of immortality really have an earth immortal? Otherwise, why would they have such a magical method? Get lost! Patriarch Netherfire roared angrily. Terrifying flames surrounded his body. The terrifying power changed the color of the sky and earth. The wind, fire, thunder, and lightning families also attacked. They roared angrily like war gods. Powerful, immortal energy and terrifying laws were displayed to the extreme. They wanted to fight against these ghouls. The battle broke out in an instant. It was very fierce. These ghouls had eaten countless experts to grow up. They were very terrifying. Their bodies were extremely hard. When the great emperors hit them, they made a clanging sound. It was very difficult to break them. On the contrary, these ghouls could eat the bodies of the great emperors. Therefore, this battle made everyone's hair stand on end. Lin Xian and the others were also attacked. Xueqi shot out ice, and Xia Jiuyo and the others also attacked. The number of ghouls was more than they had imagined. Therefore, they retreated as they fought. However, some ghouls also appeared behind them. They blocked their way. During this process, Lin Xian was surprised because he found that unless he took the initiative to attack, these ghouls wouldn't pay attention to him. Instead, they attacked Xueqi and Xia Jiuyo crazily. This stunned Lin Xian. Why? Is it because I don't have the cultivation of a great emperor? But that shouldn't be the case. The people of the other families who didn't have the cultivation of a great emperor were even more miserable. They were directly pierced through and had their hearts grabbed. Why wasn't he attacked? Dalong said, because you're not from the netherworld and you don't have that kind of cold aura. You have the aura of the purest yang, so they won't attack you. They might even be afraid of you. So that's the reason. Lin Xian understood. In that case, he would be able to restrain these ghouls. However, Dalong said, no, it's useless to restrain these ghouls. With the immortal sex methods, I'm afraid they've cultivated a lot of ghouls. Therefore, there would be no result if they continued fighting like this. You have to control that immortal water first. There was something wrong with the white bone lamp in that guy's hand. Not only would he be able to create spirit bones, but he would also be able to control these ghouls. To catch bandits, first catch the ringleader. Lin Xian's eyes flickered coldly as he prepared to attack the immortal water. At this moment, the surroundings of the immortal water were extremely silent. Holding the lantern, he stood there with the corners of his mouth raised. How could these idiots understand the power of the immortal sex? Let them all become nourishment for the ghouls. Immortal water was not surprised by those outsiders. Evidently, there had been others that had come here before. However, they had all fallen. Although there were several experts with 2 strands of immortal qi among the people that had come this time around, they were all experts with 2 strands of immortal qi. His strength far surpassed those people from before. However, they would definitely fall in the end. Just as he was feeling smug, a beam of light suddenly appeared in front of him and rushed towards him. How could this be? Could someone break through the attacks of the ghouls? It was too unbelievable. Could it be a super great emperor with 2 strands of immortal qi? Thinking of this, his expression changed drastically as he quickly retreated. However, it was still too late. With a slash of his sword, the white bone lamp in his hand was actually cut in half. The white bones scattered all over the ground. The bone specter fire also dimmed. Damn it! Immortal water shouted angrily. Was this guy a coincidence? Or was he specifically attacking this white bone lamp? The lantern was the key to controlling the ghouls. Otherwise, these ghouls would lose control. He would not be able to explain himself when he returned. With a furious roar, he reached out his palm and grabbed one of the bones. However, at this moment, a sword qi hit his hand again. It sent him flying. Damn it. Immortal Water raised his head. When he saw that the person who attacked was actually a quasi-emperor, he was stunned. He wasn't even a great emperor, yet he dared to behave atrociously in front of him? Kid, you must be tired of living. Although I don't know how you broke through the ghoul's attack line. However, with your cultivation level, you dare to come and be arrogant in front of me? I will tear you to pieces. After regaining his composure, Immortal Water was full of murderous intent. Endless laws appeared beside him. Kill. With a furious roar, he quickly charged over. In his opinion, a mere quasi-emperor would be killed in a single move. However, Lin Xian slashed down with his sword. The peerless sharpness tore through the void and instantly split his opponent's palm. Immortal Water covered his hand and screamed. He kept roaring. No, this is impossible. How can you have such a powerful attack? Immortal Water was not afraid even when facing a great emperor. He could fight. Unless it was a powerhouse with 2 strands of immortal chi, he would be afraid. However, a mere half-martial emperor had managed to injure him. This was too unbelievable. Immortal Water roared and summoned the 3 ghouls around him to attack Lin Xian. Let's see how you die. These ghouls were very terrifying. Their claws could easily shatter the void and tear apart the body of a great emperor. However, when those ghouls approached Lin Xian, they let out an uneasy roar. They stopped and quickly retreated. They did not attack. What was going on? Even the ghouls did not dare to attack. This was impossible. Immortal Water was completely stunned. Who are you? Who exactly are you? I am a god, a high and mighty god, an existence that you can't imagine. Lin Xian sneered. He flicked his finger, and a sword light pierced through heaven and earth. Immortal Water was sent flying. There was a sword hole on Immortal Water's body. He kept vomiting blood. Fear appeared in his eyes. The other party had injured him with a sword chi. This was much stronger than an ordinary great emperor. This guy could fight above his level, and he could fight above many levels. Also, the aura on the other party was not the aura of the netherworld at all. Damn it, you are from outside the netherworld. Immortal Water seemed to have discovered something. He roared crazily. No wonder this kid was so strange. Even the ghouls did not dare to attack him. Not only was he from outside the netherworld, but he also had the power of the purest yang. This was a power that was completely opposite to their netherworld. Damn it, how did you get in? Had these families already joined forces with the powerhouses from the outside? He was really crazy. The families that were fighting with the ghouls were also shocked. Outside the netherworld? How was that possible? Did this Lin Wuti really come from the outside universe? At this moment, they also could not believe it. The corners of Lin Xian's mouth curled up. It seems that you are not stupid. Since you know that I can restrain you, why don't you obediently kneel down and submit? Tell me all the details of the immortal sect. Don't even think about it. Immortal Water roared. He took out a broken saber. There were endless cracks on it. However, it was extremely sharp. This was a broken weapon left behind from the war back then. However, its power exceeded that of ordinary extreme weapons. The slash was strong enough to slice a martial monarch in half. Lin Xian smiled. He waved his hand and took out the shroud. The black cloth fluttered in the air. You can actually subdue this kind of thing. After Immortal Water finished looking, he turned around and ran. Chapter 60-67. The Immortal Water was really too shocking. First of all, the power of the purest yang was something that the 9 Serenities didn't have. The other party's appearance here had already surprised him. However, he was still able to rely on his own trump card to defend himself. After all, he was from the immortal sect. However, when the other party took out the shroud, he had no choice. He couldn't resist this thing. Therefore, he ran away like a madman. Exerting his power to the extreme, he broke through the void. However, he was still a step too late. Lin Xian waved his hand, and the shroud flew out, covering the sky and earth in front of him. In an instant, it enveloped the immortal water. At the most critical moment, the immortal water decisively gave up on his body. In that instant, his soul escaped and merged into the darkness, disappearing without a trace. He only left one sentence. "Kid, just you wait. The immortal sect won't let you go." He ran away. It was really strange. Lin Xian was also extremely surprised. The shroud could easily seal even a great emperor. This guy's soul could escape. However, the other party was decisive. He should know the power of the shroud. Therefore, he bravely gave up his body. After he ran away, the ghouls around also quickly retreated, and all left. Finally, they left. The fighting families and sects all breathed a sigh of relief. Many of them cried, because in such a short time, many people had already died. Their bodies were torn apart and their bones were swallowed. Even a few great emperors were seriously injured. Although they didn't die, the situation was very critical. Lin Gongzi saved us again. These people looked at Lin Xian with incomparable gratitude. If Lin Xian hadn't beaten this person away, perhaps more great emperors would have died. The people of the Xia family were also shocked, especially the patriarch, Xia Qinyu, who stared at Lin Xian as if he wanted to see through him. He didn't even know how to break it. How did this kid know? He said, "Who are you? You're not from the 9 Serenities. How did you come in? How do you know about the shroud? How do you know about the ghost bone fire? What's your relationship with this place? Don't you know what kind of conspiracy it is?" A series of angry roars could be heard. The others were also shocked. Yes, this young man is really too mysterious. Lin Xian smiled. "There are many things in this world that you don't know." "I know. Is this a scheme? What a joke. Your heart is too narrow-minded. Can't you admit that others are better and stronger than you? What a stupid thing." Lin Xian's sarcastic remarks made Xia Qinyu tremble with rage. If this was a land immortal, it would be fine if he taught him a lesson. Indeed, his skills were not as good as others. However, you are just a puny quasi-emperor. What right do you have to lecture me? I am a great emperor who has cultivated 2 strands of immortal qi. I am an expert who has made a name for myself since hundreds of thousands of years ago. When I swept through the world, you weren't even born yet. Naturally, he couldn't tolerate it. What a sharp-tongued thing. I want to see what you have to resist me. Xia Qianyu couldn't hold it in any longer. Previously, he had planned to kill the other party when he found the fortune celestial pool. But now, he had to suppress the other party first. "Do you want to fight?" Lin Xian took out the immortal killing sword. The corpse emperor also walked over. But at this moment, the Netherwater clan leader said, "Clan leader Xia, please give me face first." The people of the other clans also said, "Yes, clan leader Xia, Lin Gongzi saved us this time. We can't repay evil with good." Yes, we still need Lin Gongzi to continue to lead the way for us. At this moment, the people of these clans actually stood beside Lin Xian. "You, damn it, are you going to go against the Xia clan?" Xia Qianyu's face darkened. Torch Dragon also came over to persuade. "Fellow Daoist, calm down and be patient." "Okay, I'll be patient." Xia Qianyu withdrew his power. He left. With the support of these people, Lin Xian was not afraid of the Xia clan at all. He continued to lead the way. In the white bone palm, there were 2 balls of ghost bone fire jumping, and the light was brighter than before. It could also illuminate further places. This time, there were no ghouls on the road. However, they did not dare to be careless. Just as they continued to move forward, on the other side, the soul of immortal water fled in panic. He fled to the depths of the palace. There was endless light here. There were many ghost bone fire around, forming lanterns and hanging on the wall. The area in front of them was brightly lit. Not only that, if one looked carefully, they would find that this was simply an immortal palace. It was completely different from the cold darkness around. On the magnificent gate, 2 words were written in flamboyant calligraphy: Immortal Gate. On it, the multicolored light was extraordinary, as if it could ascend at any time. There were also some people in the Immortal Gate. These people were thin and wore ancient robes. At this moment, 2 people suddenly looked up. "Who is it?" they shouted coldly. In the darkness in front of them, a soul suddenly rushed out. "Senior brothers, save me. You are immortal water. What's going on? Where is your body?" The 2 figures rushed over and asked in astonishment. "You are injured." "Who injured you? Did the people outside come in?" "It's faster than we thought." Obviously, these people had calculated that someone would come in the near future, but the time was a little earlier. Immortal Water said, "Not only did they come in, but someone also injured me. One of them is a guy from outside the 9th Serenity. I don't know. How did he get in? But he is very strange. I must kill him. Senior brother, please avenge me." "What? Someone from outside the 9th Serenity? Could it be that the 9th Serenity has reopened?" These people were also extremely surprised. Someone said, "Who cares? I want to see who dares to go against our immortal gate. That is, catch him, suppress him, and everything will be clear." These people were ready to set off. But at this moment, an old voice came from the depths of the immortal gate. "Stop." After the disciples below heard it, their bodies trembled. The next moment, they turned their heads and exclaimed, "It's the immortal. The immortal has woken up." They quickly ran over and knelt on the ground. "Greetings, immortal." The ancient voice was heard once again. Then it formed an illusory eye and directly enveloped Immortal Water's soul. Immortal Water trembled in fear, but soon the illusory eye disappeared. The people around knew that it was the immortal who was probing their souls. Sure enough, in the next moment, the old voice sounded again. "It actually has the power of the purest yang. It seems that my chance has come. Go and bring those people here. Don't do anything to them. Be polite to them." Polite? Everyone was stunned. Immortal Water also said, "Immortal, he injured me and suppressed my body. I'm not reconciled." "Shut up, it's just a body. I'll help you rebuild it. They are my hope, especially that man with the purest yang energy. You must bring him here." In the end, there was a trace of excitement in the voice. "Go quickly. Do you dare to disobey my orders?" Hearing this, the surrounding disciples all shook their heads. "Immortal, don't be angry. We'll go now." Although they didn't understand what the immortal meant, however, they did not dare to resist at all. Chapter 60-68. In the boundless darkness, there was only one lamp that flickered with a faint light. Behind this lamp was a group of people. These people were Lin Xian and the others. At this moment, they were still walking in the darkness. They didn't know what was at the end of this hall. Is there anything they want in there? Some people had already begun to hesitate. "Let's walk for another half a day. If we can't see the end after half a day, let's leave this place." Yes, this place was too strange. If those ghouls were to attack again, there might really be a martial monarch who would fall. Everyone agreed one after another. However, at this moment, the sound of footsteps suddenly appeared in front of them, and there was more than one. Oh no! Could it be that the people from the immortal sect have returned? Damn it, run. These people turned around and wanted to escape. However, the people from the immortal sect came faster than they had imagined. In an instant, they arrived in front of them. Lin Xian also frowned. "It's indeed the people from the immortal sect. He saw the soul of the immortal water. He snorted coldly and took out the immortal slaying sword. Everyone, it's useless to run. Only by fighting can we have a chance of survival. Lin Xian's body was full of fighting spirit. Humph, kid, you're very lucky. We immortals want to see you. Come with us. The immortal water in front did not make a move. Instead, she said coldly. Lin Xian was stunned when he heard this. The others also cried out in alarm. The immortal wants to see us? Could it be the sect master of the immortal sects? No way. He's really still alive. Is that a land immortal? These people were extremely nervous. The immortal water said, Kid, what's wrong? You don't dare? Junior brother, shut up. Another figure walked out from the crowd. It was a burly man. He said in a deep voice, The immortal invites you over. I hope you cooperate obediently. Don't force us to make a move. Should we go over? The surrounding people were discussing animatedly. Lin Xian's eyes flickered. The other party didn't make a move immediately, which meant that there was still a chance of survival. Perhaps there would be an unexpected opportunity. Therefore, he nodded and said, Okay, I'll go with you. Please. The people from the immortal sect led the way. Lin Xian and the others followed. The people from the clans and sects behind said, Should we go over? It was too dangerous. If it's really a land immortal who set up a trap, we'll definitely die. Even the members of the Xia family were in a heated discussion. Xia Qianyu's eyes flickered as she walked over. If that brat dared to go over, why wouldn't he dare? Torch Dragon followed suit. Let's go too. The others followed suit. This time, their speed was much faster. It didn't take long for them to see a brightly lit area ahead of them. There's light. Heavens, is this a celestial mountain? Countless people were stunned. Even the martial monarchs were stunned by the sudden appearance of such a mystical place in the boundless darkness. Humph, a bunch of country bumpkins with no knowledge. This is our immortal sect, a sect founded by immortals. Why aren't you kneeling down to express your respect? Immortal water said proudly from the side. Lin Xian sneered. What is this? I've seen places that are even more miraculous than this. Why do I have to kneel? After that, he walked straight over. This brat was too arrogant. The people of the immortal sect also looked gloomy. If the immortal hadn't asked them to invite him over, they would have already attacked. What right did a quasi-emperor have to be so arrogant in front of them? After entering, everyone was surprised. Lin Xian, on the other hand, used his Rinnegan to search everywhere. The people of the immortal sect were even angrier. How dare you? Who allowed you to be so presumptuous in the land of the immortal sect? However, Lin Xian didn't care at all. He was still searching. Suddenly he froze. That place. He rushed over. Xia Qianyu and Torch Dragon also followed, because they found that there was indeed a pool of water in front of them. Above the pool, there were endless rays of light surrounding it. It was crystal clear, like a celestial pool. This should be the celestial pool of creation, what they had been looking for. You're not allowed to go over. The people of the immortal sect were completely furious. They gathered together, pulled out their swords, and shouted coldly, The celestial pool is the sacred place of our immortal sect. You're not allowed to cross it. Otherwise, don't blame us for killing you. They were very powerful, and there was more than one great emperor. This immortal sect was indeed terrifying. The people from the other clans all stopped in their tracks. Even Lin Xian and the others stopped in their tracks. However, their eyes didn't leave. Lin Xian said, Didn't you say that your immortal wanted to see me? Where is he? Let him come out. Boy, you're too reckless. How can you challenge an immortal? Today, I'm going to teach you a lesson. The burly man leading the group also walked forward. His body was surrounded by an extremely frightening, destructive power. The great emperor's faces all changed. This man was so powerful. Was this the master of the immortal sect? Lin Xian was not afraid. He was even eager to try. Well, I'll see what's so magical about your immortal sect. The sword qi on his body became even colder. However, at this moment, a voice came from the direction of the celestial pool. Stop. Then, everyone saw the water in the celestial pool boiling. A figure walked out of the celestial pool. It was an old man with the demeanor of an immortal. His body was spotless and surrounded by endless light, as if he was a holy spirit. Greetings, immortal. When the people of the immortal sect saw this old man, they all knelt down and kowtowed. The leading man shouted coldly, "Why aren't you kneeling down and kowtowing to the immortals?" Many people of the families and sects were so scared that their legs went weak, and they directly knelt on the ground. However, there were also some people who didn't kneel down. For example, Torch Dragon, Xia Qianyu, and the Corpse Emperor. They were all super great emperors who had cultivated 2 strands of immortal qi, so they wouldn't kneel down casually. Although the other great emperors didn't kneel down, their bodies were also trembling. The reason for that was because they were able to sense an unfathomable power from that old man. Was he really an immortal on Earth? Get up. The old man waved his sleeve, and suddenly thousands of rays of light danced in the air. All kinds of heaven and earth phenomena appeared, and an earth-shattering power swept over. The martial monarchs began to tremble. This power was too strong. Greetings, immortal on Earth. The great emperors were high and mighty. However, in front of a real immortal, they could only bow their heads and kowtow. It was really the power of an immortal on Earth. Xia Qianyu's body trembled. Torch Dragon also sucked in a breath of cold air. The Corpse Emperor was facing a great enemy. However, Lin Xian stood tall and straight. This was the immortal sect at the level of an immortal on Earth. An extremely cold light burst out from his eyes. He could feel an extremely powerful force. It was as if a big hand wanted to hold him down and make him kneel down. However, the sword energy in his body resonated and soared into the sky. In my life, I only kneel to my parents and my master. You are not qualified to make me kneel. It's over. This kid is dead for sure. The people of the surrounding families and sects also felt their scalps go numb. No matter how strong Lin Wudi was, it was impossible for him to be stronger than an immortal on Earth. This was an immortal who surpassed everything. He was high and mighty, a legendary figure. Legend had it that a real immortal could turn a great emperor into ashes with a wave of his hand. The Xia family once had such an immortal on Earth. That was why the Xia family was so powerful and swept through the 8 wastelands. Although the immortal on Earth of the Xia family had been sleeping for millions of years, however, no one dared to challenge the Xia family. This was the terror of an immortal. Now, Lin Xian, as a mere quasi-emperor, was challenging an immortal. Was he tired of living? Chapter 60-69. Good boy. You have courage. The elder in front smiled and said, "You are indeed the one I look forward to." After he finished speaking, he looked at his surroundings again. The eyes of the surrounding martial monarchs flickered with excitement. Obviously, they all wanted to enter the creation immortal pool. At this moment, Xia Qianyu walked out and said, "Senior, how should I address you? Is the creation immortal pool ahead?" "I am the demonic immortal. This is indeed the creation immortal pool." Hearing this, the people around were even more excited. This was the legendary immortal opportunity. "Senior demonic immortal, can we enter the immortal flower pool?" Xu Long also walked over and asked nervously. The other great emperors also cupped their fists and said, "Please help us." It's not impossible to enter the creation immortal pool, but you have to pass a test to see if you have the immortal opportunity. Test. The great emperors were stunned. The demonic immortal pointed at an inconspicuous stone tablet in the distance and said, "Who can break that stone tablet? Whoever can enter the creation immortal pool." How difficult is that? I'll do it. A great emperor from the Hidden Thunder family roared. He stomped his foot and rushed out like a meteor. He punched out with world-destroying thunder. The terrifying power hit the stone tablet, causing an earth-shaking boom. However, the stone tablet didn't move. Instead, the great emperor was forced to retreat. His blood was boiling. How is this possible? The Hidden Thunder great emperor was stunned. The others were also shocked. The inconspicuous stone tablet had such power. I don't believe it. The Hidden Thunder great emperor roared and took out his extreme weapon. It was a thunder saber surrounded by lightning. It had the power to split the sky and earth. The saber slashed down and pierced through the 9 heavens. It could even split open several worlds. However, the stone tablet still didn't move. Instead, the light on the extreme weapon dimmed. After this attack, the Hidden Thunder Great Emperor was completely stunned. The others also sucked in a breath of cold air. This stone tablet is too mysterious. I'll do it. The great emperors from other families all tried. Then the wind, fire, thunder, lightning families, black clouds, and Yushui families all tried. The great emperors from each family all tried. However, without exception, they all failed. Those below the great emperor level were even more desperate. Even the great emperor didn't have a chance, let alone them. What kind of material was this stone tablet made of? Was it even more terrifying than an extreme weapon? With so many martial monarchs attacking one after another, even an extreme weapon would be shattered by now. Why wasn't there even the slightest crack on this rock? A bunch of trash. The corpse emperor snorted coldly and walked out. He had come for the Fortune Immortal Pond. Therefore, there was no need for him to hide anything. As he walked out, 2 streams of immortal chi surged out from his body. The black robe was torn to shreds, revealing his true appearance. "It's you." The emperor of the Xia family was enraged after reading it. Wasn't this the mysterious expert who had ambushed them earlier? Damn it, Xia Qianyu and the others looked gloomy, but they didn't make a move. However, the corpse emperor roared towards the sky. His body emitted a metallic light. Because he had the strongest physique, at this moment, his hands danced as if they had merged with heaven and earth. He released a powerful force and charged forward. The attack was a lot stronger than the attacks of the martial monarchs before. After all, the corpse emperor was a super great emperor. With a boom, heaven and earth cracked. The surrounding great emperors felt their blood boil. Those below the great emperor level were so scared that they prostrated themselves on the ground. The people of the Xia family exclaimed, "This person is so strong." Xia Qianyu's face was also gloomy. One had to admit that the corpse emperor was really strong. He could suppress everything with a raise of his hand and shatter the 9 heavens with a single palm. However, even with such strength, he still couldn't break the stone tablet. This caused countless people to fall into despair. Could this stone tablet be unbreakable? Was it an immortal stone tablet? How could it be? The corpse emperor's brows were tightly knitted. He didn't hold back in that attack. He wanted to end the battle quickly. However, the result surprised him. It can't be, right? Xia Juyo, Xueqi, and the others were also stunned. Lin Xian's brows were tightly knitted together. If the other great emperors couldn't break it, it could be understood that they weren't strong enough. But the corpse emperor was a super great emperor. Even he couldn't break it? The 9 netherworld beasts also whispered, "This old man is playing with us, right?" At this moment, the dragon in his body said, "Boy, there's something wrong with this stone tablet. There's also something wrong with this demonic immortal. Lin Xian was taken aback. His expression didn't change, but he secretly asked through voice transmission, "What's the problem?" "This old man is trapped here. The stone tablet is the key to the array that trapped him." "What?" Lin Xian was stunned. "This old man is a demonic immortal. Who can trap an earth immortal? Then this array is too heaven-defying. Even a few heavenly masters can't do it." The dragon shook his head. "I don't know the details. However, he is indeed trapped in this celestial pool and can't come out. The key is probably the celestial pool. Be careful when you attack later." "Okay." Lin Xian nodded. His eyes flickered as he began to think about his next move. The corpse emperor in front was unwilling to give up. He attacked again, and an earth-shattering power erupted. Fortunately, this place was extremely mysterious. Otherwise, it would have been broken. But even so, it still made people's scalp tingle. The result was even more shocking. The stone tablet was still intact. When Xia Qinyu saw this scene, he sneered, "Trash? I think you're just as a—" "What did you say?" The corpse emperor was angry. He turned his head and attacked Xia Qinyu with a palm. Xia Qinyu raised his hand and punched. The two collided. A black hole quickly appeared, swallowing all directions. He sneered, "I said you're trash. Step back and see how I break it." "I want to see what you can do." The corpse emperor didn't believe it. Even he couldn't break it. What could the other party do? Xia Qinyu walked out. He took a deep breath, and the aura of the netherworld emerged on his body. A vast and powerful force suppressed all directions. At this moment, the sky shook and the earth shook. Everyone felt frightened. This was the patriarch of the Xia family, extremely powerful. The next moment, Xia Qinyu attacked. However, he didn't attack the stone tablet. Instead, he attacked Lin Xian. An extremely cold and sinister energy enveloped Lin Xian like a poisonous snake. Lin Xian felt it, and his hair stood on end. His expression changed drastically. "Oh no, this guy wants to kill me first." That was right. Xia Qinyu did have this idea. He had planned to kill Lin Xian after seeing the celestial creation pool, because Lin Xian was too arrogant and challenged him several times. He wouldn't allow such a genius to appear. So, at this moment, he attacked ruthlessly. This palm was called the Netherworld Soul Capturing Palm. Under this palm, the opponent's soul would be shattered, and there would be no possibility of resurrection. "Husband, be careful." The expressions of Xue Qi and the others also changed drastically. They wanted to attack, but it was too late. They could only feel an extremely vast power pressing down on them. It was as if the hand of a deity was pressing down on them, causing their bodies to tremble. As for the others, they were all stunned. They didn't expect Xia Qinyu's killing intent to be so strong. Chapter 60-70. At this critical moment, the demonic immortal behind him snorted coldly. He waved his hand, and a mysterious Dharma appeared. Immediately, the 9 netherworld soul-extinguishing palm was blocked. With a boom, the palm shattered. Xia Qinyu was also knocked back. He even shattered the void. His qi and blood were tumbling, and his face was stunned. It was blocked, and the one who did it was the demonic immortal. Why did Senior care about the business of a little ant? He didn't understand. The demonic immortal snorted coldly. "Who allowed you to fight in front of me?" "Humph!" His cold snort fell on Xia Qinyu like a divine thunder. Xia Qinyu cried out and spat out a mouthful of blood. Patriarch, the great emperors of the Xia family, were even more frightened. They all ran over, as if they were facing a great enemy. Xia Qinyu waved his hand and stopped these people. He clenched his fists, gritted his teeth, and said, "Senior is right. I will remember and won't fight again." "Since you are from the Xia family, I will spare you this time. If there is a next time, I will destroy your heart and soul." The demonic immortal's cold voice came. Everyone's hair stood on end. Was this an immortal? Too powerful. Just a voice injured the Xia family patriarch. What kind of power was this? This was a power that surpassed everything. The zombie emperor, torch dragon, and the others were also creeped out. Under this power, they didn't dare to do anything. Lin Xian's expression was even more solemn. Was this an immortal? Moreover, it was a sealed immortal. How strong would he be in his peak state? The Nirvana realm had more than one Earth immortal. Was he going to face such a super strong master in the future? Power, he needed more power. He felt a sense of crisis. This time, he must enter the creation immortal pool and improve the immortal chi seed to the extreme. Next, he had to prove his Tao and become an emperor as soon as possible. Otherwise, if he met the Earth immortal of the Nirvana realm in the future, Lin Xian felt that he would most likely die. Boy, pay attention. This demonic immortal seems to pay special attention to you. His eyes are always on you. At this moment, Dalong spoke again. Lin Xian was stunned. Is there such a thing? Could it be because he came from outside the 9 underworlds? Thinking of this, Lin Xian narrowed his eyes. It seemed that he could take a gamble when the time came. Off to the side, Xia Qinyu took out 2 medicinal pills and swallowed them. Magical laws and immortal qi swirled around her. He recovered from his injuries. At the same time, he said, "Senior, I won't attack anymore. Can you let me continue to try and break this stone tablet?" "Sure." The monster immortal nodded. Xia Qinyu took a deep breath and took a step forward. Endless immortal light erupted from his body, forming an extremely terrifying storm. Then he formed a seal with his palm and slammed it forward. 9 Serenity's Starlight Seal. This was an extremely terrifying palm technique. At this moment, once it was used, its power was boundless. Everyone was looking forward to it. This palm strike should be able to succeed. The black handprint, with a mysterious starlight, landed on the stone tablet and set off a huge wave. Dozens of black holes appeared in front of them, swallowing everything. Everyone was waiting. However, at this time, Xia Qinyu exclaimed, "This is impossible." This was because he discovered that the stone tablet was still intact. "What's going on?" Xia Qinyu was stunned. The great emperor of the Xia family also shook his head crazily. Even the patriarch doesn't have a chance. The others were even more desperate. The corpse emperor sneered. "You said I'm useless? I think you're the useless one. Aren't you the same? Can't you open it? What right do you have to laugh at others?" Xia Qinyu trembled with anger and wanted to attack again. However, thinking of what had happened before, he restrained himself. In front of this monster immortal, he couldn't be presumptuous. "I don't believe it." Xia Qinyu attacked again. In the end, he even took out an extreme weapon. However, he still couldn't break the stone tablet. He couldn't even leave a crack on it. In the end, he could only give up helplessly. Then the torch dragon also tried, but it also failed. Lin Xian said to Xueqi, Xiajuyo, and the others, "You guys should also try. Perhaps what you need to break the stone tablet is not strength, but opportunity." So Xueqi, Xiajuyo, and the 9 netherworld beasts all tried. However, they still failed. In the end, even the quasi-emperors below the great emperor level tried. However, no one succeeded. In the end, almost everyone had made a move. They were all desperate and stunned. Could it be that no one could enter the creation celestial pool? Then, this time, didn't they come in vain? How much had they experienced? Previously, half of their bloodline was sucked away by the bloodthirsty array. Then they encountered ghouls, and even great emperors fell. It wasn't easy to come here, but in the end, they could only watch and couldn't enter. How could they be satisfied? However, No one dared to be presumptuous. After all, there was a monster immortal in front of them. The monster immortal in front of them was expressionless. It seemed that everything was within his expectations. His eyes turned and fell on Lin Xian. He said, "Young man, you haven't made a move yet." "Yes," the Gloomwater clan leader also exclaimed. "Lin Gongzi hasn't made a move yet. He might have a chance." The Dark Cloud's clan leader shook his head. "Impossible." Even the Xia clan leader, the Torch Dragon, a super great emperor, failed. "No matter how strong he is, I'm afraid he won't succeed." "I think he might not have a chance." All kinds of discussions came. The people of the Xia clan sneered. "He will never succeed." "That's right. Who does he think he is? Even our clan leader failed." "He has no chance." Even Xueqi, the zombie emperor, and the others looked at Lin Xian. Lin Xian smiled and said, "I can make a move, but you have to let me enter the creation celestial pool first." Ha! Everyone was stunned after hearing this. Is this guy crazy? How dare he negotiate with the monster immortal? Isn't he afraid of being slapped to death by the monster immortal? Xia Qinyu also sneered. Stupid thing. It seemed that the monster immortal could kill him without him making a move. Even the monster immortal was stunned. "Oh, are you making a request of me?" "Young man, do you know what kind of existence you are facing?" The monster immortal snorted. An endless starlight suddenly bloomed in his eyes. An unimaginable power burst out and enveloped the world. Everyone trembled, and their faces were filled with despair. What kind of power is this? They couldn't resist at all. Lin Xian was also facing a great enemy. He clenched his fists and exerted his physique to the extreme. Then he said, "You can't kill me, and I don't think you will kill me. If you want me to make a move, it's very simple. Let me enter the creation celestial pool first. When I get the opportunity, I will save you. Otherwise, I would rather give up the creation celestial pool than make a move." To be honest, Lin Xian was also very nervous now. He gambled again. He gambled that the other party was waiting for him. Perhaps he was the key to breaking the array. Those people exclaimed, "This kid is too arrogant." "Lin Gongzi, don't you want to live anymore?" The people of the Xia clan all sneered. "He's dead. He's definitely dead." They gloated. They wanted to see with their own eyes how the other party died. What a pity. Zhu Long also sighed. Originally, he had some ideas about Lin Xian, but now his plan was probably in vain. Chapter 6071. Everyone thought that Lin Xian had caused a big trouble. If he offended an Earth Immortal, he would be slapped to death. However, the situation was beyond everyone's expectations. The Earth Immortal was silent and didn't make a move. How was this possible? The people of the Xia family went crazy. Would the Earth Immortal spare him? Xia Qinyu's face was also ugly. Previously, he was injured by the Earth Immortal when he made a move. Now, the Earth Immortal directly challenged him, and his ending should be worse than death. Why didn't he make a move? Damn it, this brat's luck is too good. Xueqi and the others were also uneasy. As long as the other party made a move, they would do everything they could to protect Lin Xian. "Young man, you are very bold." At this moment, the demonic immortal spoke. As soon as his voice came out, the terrifying pressure that filled the sky disappeared. Lin Xian smiled. He knew that he had made the right bet. Sure enough, the demonic immortal said, "You can come in, but you have to swear. Swear with your Tao heart that after entering the creation immortal pool, you must break the stone tablet." No problem. Lin Xian knew that this was his only chance. As an immortal, it was already incredible that he had made such a concession. "Kid, are you sure you want to save him?" Dalong said. Lin Xian sighed. "I have no choice. Otherwise, I can't even enter the creation immortal pool." Wealth came from danger. He could only take one step at a time. He didn't know whether it was a blessing or a curse to release the sealed Earth Immortal. Lin Xian took a deep breath and walked towards the creation celestial pool before him. The surrounding people all exclaimed, "Oh my God!" He succeeded. He could really enter the creation immortal pool. Why didn't I make such a request? I could have gone in first and then made a move. Many great emperors were extremely regretful. Xia Qianyu, Zhu Long, and the others were trembling with anger. Senior, why? Senior, please give us a chance. After we enter the creation immortal pool, our strength will increase greatly, and we will definitely be able to break the stone tablet. You don't have the ability, the demonic immortal said coldly. He directly refused. Damn it, why? The first elder and the others asked, Patriarch, should we make a move? We can join forces now, all the emperors. Xia Qianyu's heart skipped a beat, but after thinking about it, he still didn't dare to make a move. Land immortals were too terrifying. If they joined forces with others to make a move, they would be completely offending the other party. That was a falling out. If they failed, everyone would die. It had been extremely difficult for him to reach his current level of cultivation. He did not wish to take such a risk. Therefore, he could only send a telepathic message. Don't do it. Wait a little longer. No one dared to make a move. They could only watch as Lin Xian walked towards the creation celestial pool. Lin Xian took a deep breath when he arrived at the creation immortal pond. He could feel the boundless power within the pond. In the next moment, he walked in. Endless laws and immortal qi surrounded him. Lin Xian sighed softly. What a terrifying place. Even a great emperor would be able to obtain unimaginable benefits by cultivating here. Next, he began to cultivate with all his might. He had completely entered the fortune immortal pond. The immortal qi seed in his left eye was like a whirlpool, crazily absorbing the surrounding energy. Lin Xian felt very comfortable. His body was filled with power. Just like that, Lin Xian began to cultivate. The monster immortal stood on the surface of the lake. His eyes flickered. No one knew what he was thinking. On the other side, Xueqi and the others were also waiting nervously. The angriest ones were the Xia family and the other great emperors. Now, they could only watch helplessly. They were unwilling to accept this. They were really unwilling to accept this. In the blink of an eye, 3 days had passed. In the blink of an eye, 7 days had passed. Lin Xian didn't seem to have any intention of waking up. Damn it. The great elder gritted his teeth. Could it be that we have to wait here while he cultivates for 10 years? The other great emperors were also dissatisfied. After all, no one could remain calm in front of such a heavenly treasure. The monster immortal snorted coldly. No one asked you to wait. If you're not satisfied, you can leave. Otherwise, I'll send you to hell. Hearing this, no one dared to say anything. If they left, they wouldn't. Because if they stayed here, they might still have a chance. But if they left, they would have nothing. The monster immortal was very calm. He didn't seem to be in a hurry at all. This was because he knew that although the creation celestial pool had a mysterious power that could improve the cultivation of great emperors, but the power of this place couldn't be absorbed forever. Otherwise, the body wouldn't be able to take it. With Lin Xian's cultivation, he was only the 10-crown king. He wouldn't be able to stay here for long. 1 month should be his limit. In the blink of an eye, a month had passed, and he still hadn't come out. This surprised the monster immortal. Did he misjudge? Who would have thought that his limit was even longer than I had imagined? Interesting. He's a genius who hasn't been born yet. To be praised by an immortal, one could imagine how powerful Lin Xian's talent was. However, no matter how strong he was, there was still a limit. In the monster immortal's opinion, it would be 2 months at most. However, even after 3 months, Lin Xian still didn't seem to have any intention of coming out. The monster immortal couldn't stay calm anymore. He snorted coldly. I want to see how long you can stay here. Even a great emperor couldn't stay here for 3 months. He had indeed underestimated Lin Xian. Lin Xian had too many trump cards. Therefore, Lin Xian could stay in the creation celestial pool for a longer period of time. However, on the 5th month, Lin Xian opened his eyes. This was already his limit. His immortal chi seed had reached the peak. If it was outside, under normal circumstances, he might not reach the peak even after cultivating for 500 years. But now, 5 months was greatly shortened. The immortal chi seed was saturated and couldn't absorb anymore. The next step was to prove his Tao and break through. However, Lin Xian wouldn't do this step for the time being. Therefore, he didn't absorb the power of the creation celestial pool. His current strength had become much stronger than before. Lin Xian was overjoyed. Was he going to go out? His eyes flashed. How could he crack the stone tablet after going out? To be honest, he wasn't very confident. However, at this moment, Dalong said, "Kid, wait. There seems to be something else in the creation celestial pool. I feel an unusual aura." Lin Xian froze when he heard this. He didn't go out immediately. Instead, he opened his Rinnegan and carefully examined it. He even flew towards the bottom of the creation celestial pool. This creation celestial pool was very deep and seemed to have no end. With his strong physique, Lin Xian kept going down. Finally, he saw something. At this moment, Lin Xian was completely stunned. There was a pagoda below. It was only a meter tall and exquisite. And above the pagoda, the immortal chi was extremely terrifying. What was this thing? Immortal pagoda? There was such a mysterious pagoda under the creation celestial pool. Lin Xian was ecstatic. Take it away. This was his first thought, because he felt that this thing seemed to be even more mysterious than the creation celestial pool. Thinking of this, he waved his hand. He grabbed towards the immortal pagoda below. Chapter 6072. Lin Xian's palm blossomed with a piercing light, as if it was the hand of a war god grabbing downwards. But just as he approached the immortal tower, his palm was blocked. Not only that, there was a super strong force above the immortal tower that blasted over, shattering his palm. His expression changed, and he quickly retracted his palm. His brows furrowed. He frowned. What's going on? This immortal tower was too terrifying. DeLong said, "Kid, you have to be careful. The immortal chi above this immortal tower is extremely terrifying. I'm afraid this is something incredible." In fact, Lin Xian could feel the terrifying aura on it even without DeLong's warning. With his current strength, it would be difficult for him to get close. DeLong's sword soul flew out like a dragon's shadow, baring its fangs and brandishing its claws. A pair of dragon eyes fell on the immortal tower below. Then it exclaimed, "Could it be that thing? What is this?" DeLong, do you know? Lin Xian was surprised. DeLong nodded. This was an incredible thing. This was an immortal artifact. I only saw it once back then, and it was said that its whereabouts were unknown. I didn't expect it to appear here. Is this thing very powerful? Lin Xian was surprised. Immortal artifact. That's something even more terrifying than an extreme Dao weapon, right? Could it be the weapon of an Earth Immortal? It's very powerful and can be said to be extremely terrifying. DeLong's eyes flickered. It seemed to recall some ancient battles. It said, "This is the 7 treasures exquisite pagoda, which can subdue all demons and ghosts. No wonder the demonic immortals were suppressed here. It was because of this pagoda." Lin Xian also understood, but his brows furrowed even tighter. "Can I open an immortal artifact? Others may not be able to, but you might." DeLong said, "Do you still remember the universe ring you dug out from the ancient land? With that thing, you can mobilize some of the power above the 7 treasures exquisite pagoda." Although it can't be completely opened, it's enough to crack the stone tablet. Really? Lin Xian was overjoyed. In this way, could he also use it to threaten the demonic immortals? That's right. De Long nodded. With the power of the 7 treasures' exquisite pagoda, the demonic immortals won't dare to attack you. Moreover, there was one more thing. The 7 treasures' exquisite pagoda had appeared. If it could appear again, the mysterious yellow pagoda of the heaven and earth would also appear. You might really be able to fuse with the power of an immortal. Really? Lin Xian was even more shocked now. This was the most troublesome thing for him right now. Tell me in detail. De Long said, the black-yellow pagoda of heaven and earth is an extremely terrifying divine artifact. It is as famous as the 7 treasures' exquisite pagoda. One was an immortal artifact, and the other was a divine artifact. They both possessed the power of gods and immortals. You also cultivated Tai Chi. Tai Chi could manifest all things, and naturally it could contain the power of gods and immortals. This is your only chance. Although no one has done it before, and I don't know the success rate, at least there are more chances than you blindly fusing. That's great. I finally know a path. Lin Xian clenched his fists. He had been cultivating the Taiji diagram all this time. The 7 treasures' exquisite pagoda was right in front of him. Next, he just needed to find the heaven-earth mysterious yellow pagoda. Thinking of this, Lin Xian was overjoyed. He took a deep breath and calmed himself down. Another 3 days passed. Lin Xian said, "Okay, I'm ready to go out." The power of the immortal Qi seed had reached its peak. Next, Lin Xian didn't need to stay here. He was going to leave and look for the black-yellow pagoda. The people outside were getting impatient. Even the demonic immortals were frowning. It had been almost half a year, and the other party still hadn't come out. Could he have died inside? Because he didn't believe that a person could absorb for half a year inside. How much power did you have to absorb? Even the great emperor couldn't stay for so long. He had once calculated that if he wanted to go out, he had to wait for someone outside the 9 serenities. Only then could he save him. Now Lin Xian was that person. He wouldn't allow the other party to die. His figure flickered, and he was about to enter the immortal pool to look for the other party. But at this moment, the water in the immortal pool boiled. Then it parted to both sides, and a passage appeared. Lin Xian walked out of the immortal pool. The 9 netherworld beasts exclaimed, "Shui-chi," and the others all looked up. The other great emperors also did the same. Everyone's eyes fell on Lin Xian. Her husband's aura had become stronger. Shui-chi was overjoyed. The corpse emperor was incomparably envious. As for Xia Qianyu and the other members of the Xia family, they were clenching their teeth so hard that they almost broke. The surrounding people were also exclaiming, "Half a year! This is comparable to the amount of bitter cultivation outside. No, why do I feel that he's still a quasi-emperor? He doesn't show any signs of breaking through to the great emperor realm." Xia Qianyu snorted coldly. What a waste! After absorbing the immortal pool for half a year, he still hasn't broken through to the great emperor realm. How trashy is his talent! The great elder also sighed. If it was given to you, you might be able to break through and become an earth immortal. They were very unwilling. How could they know that it wasn't that Lin Xian hadn't broken through to the great emperor realm? Lin Xian wanted to walk a path that no one had ever walked before. If it was a single breakthrough, he would have been able to use the power of the divine fire to break through. This time, he could also use the power of the immortal energy seed to break through. However, he didn't do so, because he wanted to walk the path of an immortal. He wanted to have the divine fire and immortal energy at the same time. He wanted to be the only one and surpass everything. Only in this way could he be qualified to compete with the Nirvana realm. There was no other way. The Nirvana realm was too powerful. The powerhouses of the Nirvana realm had lived for countless years. Their foundation and accumulation were not something that he could compare with. Only by fusing with the power of an immortal could he have the power to fight. You finally came out, the monster immortal said in surprise. He didn't care whether Lin Xian could break through or not. What he cared about was that Lin Xian was going to help him break the stone tablet. Although he was also very confused, how is he going to break the stone tablets? Lin Xian smiled. Senior, I've made you wait for a long time. Senior, don't worry, I'll break the seal and help you out. As soon as these words came out, everyone was stunned. The monster immortal's pupils constricted. His eyes were fixed on Lin Xian. Young man, what are you talking about? Lin Xian said, Senior, aren't you sealed here? Of course I'm going to save you. What? Sealed? Xia Qianyu jumped up. Who can seal a land immortal? This was impossible. He roared crazily. Torch Dragon was also dumbfounded. The other great emperors were also listening to a book from heaven. How did you know? A hint of coldness appeared in the monster immortal's eyes. Even the great emperors with 2 strands of immortal energy couldn't find it. How did the other party know? Lin Xian smiled. I saw the immortal tower under the creation immortal pool. Senior, you were suppressed by the immortal tower, right? The monster immortal was completely stunned. This immortal tower, he also found it. That place was definitely not something a quasi-emperor could reach. Xia Qianyu and Torch Dragon exclaimed. There are treasures in the creation immortal pool. Is the immortal tower a weapon of an immortal? It was unbelievable. Their eyes were red. They really wanted to go down and find out. Chapter 6073. Young man, you've really surprised me. It's been 500,000 years. In the past 500,000 years, people from the outside have come in 36 times. Among them, there was no lack of great emperors with 2 strands of immortal qi. However, no one could help me leave. They couldn't even find the immortal pagoda. Only you found it. Do it. As long as you can save me. What do you want? I can promise you anything. I can give you endless glory and wealth. I can give you heavenly materials and earthly treasures. I can even let you become a great emperor immediately. I can also help you conquer the world and make you the Lord of 9 serenities. Every word of the immortal monster made people's blood boil. Even the great emperors were excited. These things were also what they had dreamed of. However, Lin Xian shook his head. Senior, I don't want any of these. I want a promise from you. You're not allowed to attack me or my companions. Why? Young man, don't you trust me? A strange light bloomed in the immortal monster's eyes. Lin Xian said, I just want a guarantee. This way, I can better break the seal for you. Okay. The immortal monster nodded. I can swear that I won't attack you or your companions. Hearing this oath, the 9 serenities beast, Xia Juyo, and the others all breathed a sigh of relief. Lin Xian also smiled. Senior, please wait a moment. I'll break the seal for you. Speaking of this, Lin Xian entered the fortune immortal pool again. Everyone was looking forward to it. How was Lin Wuyi going to break the seal? So many great emperors had failed. What could he do? However, they couldn't see clearly. The fortune immortal pool had endless power. Even the great emperor's eyes were blocked. They could only wait. The immortal monster's eyes bloomed like a sharp sword, piercing through the fortune immortal pool. He wanted to see everything clearly. However, at this moment, the water in the fortune immortal pool boiled violently. At the same time, Lin Xian's voice sounded. Senior, can you give me some privacy? No problem. Hearing this, the immortal monster immediately looked away. As for this kid's secret, he had plenty of opportunities to explore it in the future. Now he'd better wait and break the seal. He had been sealed here for 500,000 years and had had enough. He didn't want to stay here any longer. He wanted to leave. He had a lot of things to do. When Lin Xian arrived at the bottom of the celestial lake of good fortune, he took a deep breath. He took out the universe ring. Would it work? Lin Xian activated the power of the universe ring. Since this item was dug out from the ancient land, it was definitely a treasure. But whose weapon was it? I don't know. Why was the universe ring connected to the 7 treasures' exquisite pagoda? Lin Xian was even more confused. This might be a primordial secret, or even a primordial secret. As expected, as soon as the universe ring appeared, the 7 treasures' exquisite pagoda below began to shake. The immortal chi above it spun continuously and swept towards Lin Xian. Lin Xian was shocked. Every single strand of immortal chi was equivalent to the power of a great emperor. With so many people attacking at the same time, even if it was him, if he was hit, he would die without a doubt. But fortunately, the immortal chi did not attack him. It only circled around the universe ring. It was really effective. Lin Xian was overjoyed. He waved his hand, and the universe ring flew into the distance. In the next moment, he left the celestial lake of good fortune and flew towards the stone tablet in the distance. It hit the stone tablet. The universe ring was already incomparably hard. In addition, it was surrounded by several strands of immortal chi. In an instant, it immediately shattered the stone tablet. Everyone only saw a flash of golden light. Then, an earth-shattering roar sounded, and countless gravel danced in the air. A terrifying black hole appeared between heaven and earth. The vast power made the great emperor's hair stand on end. Was it really shattered? Xia Qinyu was dumbfounded. Zhu Long also sucked in a breath of cold air. It was too unbelievable. The great emperors were even more stunned. He did it. Lin Wuti really did it. What exactly was that golden light? They were extremely puzzled. But they did not have time to think too much because an earth-shattering roar sounded. Above the celestial lake of good fortune, the demon immortal who had been holding his hands behind his back suddenly roared into the sky. A powerful force swept out in all directions with him as the center. Retreat quickly. At this moment, all the major families in the 9th underworld frantically retreated. Even the Xia family was running away in a frenzy. They did not dare to stay at all. Everyone left. The whole place fell apart. An endless storm also set off in the celestial lake of good fortune. It was as if a god had descended. This terrifying aura lasted for a long time before it slowly disappeared. When this power disappeared, everyone looked up at the sky. A figure walked out of the void. It was the old man from before. However, the aura on his body was completely different. Before this, he had the demeanor of an immortal and amiable. But now, his body was filled with a biting cold aura. His eyes were like a peerless immortal sword. Even the great emperors did not dare to look him in the eye. He was so powerful that he was invincible. This was the thought in everyone's mind, whether it was the corpse emperor Zhu Long or Xia Qinyu. At this moment, in front of the other party, they all lowered their heads deeply. The demon immortal waved his finger, and a sword chi fell, splitting the celestial lake of good fortune in half. Under the celestial lake of good fortune, everyone saw a young figure emerge. It was Lin Wuti. At this moment, Lin Wuti also frowned. The other party's aura was too strong. With a wave of his hand, he held the universe ring in his hand. He rose into the air and came to the sky. He said, "Senior, I helped you break the seal. You're out. We don't owe each other anything. Goodbye." After that, Lin Xian wanted to leave. Wait. At this moment, the demon immortal spoke in a deep voice. Lin Xian stopped in his tracks. His heart thumped. He said, "Senior, is there anything else? Young man, you helped me out. This is a great favor to me. How can I bear to let you leave like this? Stay by my side for a while. I'll teach you some immortal techniques, and give you some heavenly treasures to repay your kindness to me." Hearing this, countless people were envious. However, Lin Xian shook his head. "No need, Senior. It's already a great opportunity for me to enter the celestial lake of good fortune. I don't dare to ask for anything else. Goodbye." Lin Xian didn't dare to be with such an old monster. What kind of joke was this? This guy had been sealed before, so he was afraid. Now that the seal was gone, who could suppress him? It was better to leave first. Buzz. Lin Xian's figure flickered, and he wanted to leave. However, in the next moment, the void in front of him broke open, and the demon immortal walked out again. It was so fast. Lin Xian was stunned. He had never seen this kind of speed. Even the Rinnegan couldn't see it. After all, the difference in cultivation level between the two sides was too great. Not to mention him, even Xia Qianyu and the others couldn't keep up with this kind of speed. Below the great emperor, everyone was an ant. However, in front of the immortal, the great emperor was also an ant. The demon immortal smiled. He stared at Lin Xian and said, "Young man, don't refuse my kindness. You'd better come with me." There was a commanding tone in his voice. Chapter 6074. Everyone was shocked by this scene. The demonic immortal wanted to take Lin Xian away? Unbelievable! Xue Qi and the others frowned. As for Xia Qianyu and the others, they laughed. Humph! It seems that this kid is finished. They knew that the demonic immortal had set his eyes on him. Being targeted by an earth immortal, it would be difficult for him to escape in this lifetime. What do you want? Just say it. Lin Xian's face also darkened, and a hint of anger appeared in his eyes. Young man, you are very smart. I want to know your secret. How did you use the power of the Immortal Tower? Even I can't use that kind of power. Tell me, and I will spare your life. What if I don't tell you? Lin Xian shook his head. If you don't tell me, then don't blame me for being rude. A biting cold killing intent appeared on the demonic immortal's body. This aura made everyone feel as if they had fallen into an abyss. Even the corpse emperor's expression changed drastically. The people of the Xia family were ecstatic. Great, this kid is really dead. Lin Xian frowned. He said, "You swore that you wouldn't attack me. Are you going to break your oath? Even if you are an earth immortal, this oath still has restrictions on you." "Yes, I did swear that I wouldn't attack you and your companions, but I can move my feet." At this moment, the demonic immortal smiled very slyly. "Not to mention moving my feet. Even if I move my head or my eyes, except for my hands, any power in my body is enough to kill you. What do you have to compete with me?" Heavens, I didn't know it could be like this. The surrounding great emperors were all stunned. He didn't attack because he didn't want him to attack. They found that this demonic immortal seemed to be very shameless. Sure enough, Lin Xian's face darkened. "Old thing, you are too shameless. Immortals can't be humiliated." A biting cold immortal light burst out from the demonic immortal's eyes. It rushed forward and directly enveloped Lin Xian. Lin Xian felt as if he was facing a great enemy. He felt as if his body was about to be torn apart. It was too powerful. The earth immortal was far stronger than him. He didn't dare to be careless. He pushed his body to the extreme. In an instant, he took out the sky-swallowing jar. Countless vortexes were created. At the same time, dragon-shaped sword qi covered his body. Just as he finished doing all this, the immortal light shot over. Lin Xian was sent flying. The black vortex was penetrated and cracks appeared on its body. Even some of the sword qi was shattered. Boom, a huge crack appeared and swallowed Lin Wudi. Not good. Xue Qi and the others cried out in alarm, and they wanted to rush over. However, they were obstructed by the corpse emperor. "Don't attack. Do you all want to die? Damn it." Xia Jiu gritted his teeth. Was he dead? The others were even more shocked. How miraculous was this young man? He could even shatter the stone tablet. But so what? He still couldn't block the move of an Earth immortal. In fact, a single glance from him was enough to kill a person. Ha ha, that's great. He's dead. The grand elder of the Xia family, and the others laughed. Xia Qianyu snorted coldly. How can you provoke an Earth immortal? The demonic immortal said, I only moved my eyes. I didn't do anything. I didn't break the oath. In the next moment, he shouted coldly, Soul, come. In his opinion, Lin Xian was already dead. He wanted to summon the remaining soul of the other party. Between heaven and earth, demonic clouds filled the air. It was extremely terrifying as it surged towards the space cracks. However, at this moment, a cold snort came from the space cracks. Old thing, it's not that easy for you to kill me. Still alive? The demonic immortal was stunned, and so were the others. The smile on the grand elder of the Xia family froze. Impossible? They roared. How could he still be alive after being hit by an Earth immortal? Even a great emperor couldn't do it. The demonic immortal waved his hand and tore the world in half. Then, everyone saw a figure covered in blood appear in front of them. Husband. Xueqi rose into the air and came to Lin Xian's side. Are you okay? Husband, let's fuse the 9 yin and 9 yang. Lin Xian shook his head. Don't worry, cheat. I won't die yet. You go down and watch the battle first. The 9 yin and 9 yang can't do anything to him. However, I have a way to restrain him. Lin Xian's eyes shone with an extremely cold light. Indeed, their 9 yin and 9 yang could instantly shatter a great emperor. However, the enemy in front of him was an Earth immortal. He was an immortal. He had surpassed the great emperor. His strength was terrifying and unimaginable. If it were any other situation, Lin Xian wouldn't dare to fight with him. However, in this place, he was fearless because he had the power of the Immortal Tower. This was something he had already thought about before he made his move. He had also thought of this scene. What if the other party went back on his word? Then he would use the power of the Immortal Tower. Lin Xian waved his hand, took out the universe ring, and held it in his hand. Husband, be careful. Xueqi retreated into the distance. Xiaojio said, Do you really not need us to join forces? The corpse emperor shook his head. If this kid isn't stupid, he should run away immediately. Otherwise, even if all of us join forces, we won't be a match for him. If he wants to fight now, I think he should have some trump cards, right? The other great emperors were also surprised. How did he survive? You, and I can't resist the gaze of an immortal. How could he resist it? What trump card does this kid have? The demon immortal's gaze also darkened. Kid, I really underestimated you. I didn't expect you to be alive. Did you know? Even a great emperor with 2 strands of immortal qi would be seriously injured by my gaze. I'm getting more and more interested in you. I want to see what your trump card is. Old thing, you're too conceited. Do you really think that I can't do anything to you just because you're an Earth immortal? Before saving you, I thought of this possibility. I have a countermeasure. Lin Xian took a deep breath and activated the universe ring. The demon immortal shook his head. You're too ignorant. All your trump cards are vulnerable in front of me. Today, I'll let you know what an immortal is. The demon immortal still didn't make a move, because he had made an oath. However, when he took a step forward, the immortal qi on his body suddenly erupted. It was 3 strands of immortal qi that surrounded him, causing the 9 heavens and 10 lands to tremble violently. At this moment, a vast amount of energy surged forth. Retreat. The zombie emperor's expression changed drastically. The other great emperors also retreated. In front of this absolute power, no one could resist it. Lin Xian's Sword Chi soared into the sky, as if he had turned into a sword god. However, in front of this absolute power, he kept swaying. He was like a small boat in a storm that would capsize at any time. However, at this moment, the universe ring in his hand shone brightly. At the same time, in the creation immortal pool below, there was also a stormy wave. The immortal pagoda in the creation immortal pool shook again, and immortal chi surged out. They tore the immortal pool apart and flew into the void. Each strand of immortal chi was incomparably thick and terrifying. They surrounded the universe ring, blooming with bright light. What is this? What a terrifying power! In the distance, the great emperors exclaimed when they saw this scene. The people of the Xia family were even more shocked. Xia Qinyu's eyes were like fire as he stared at that thing. This is power that surpasses the great emperors. How can this kid have it? This is the power of the immortal pagoda. The demon immortal also exclaimed. There was an extremely terrifying demonic fire in his eyes that was jumping. He smiled. His smile was very happy. I understand now. Your secret must be this weapon. He looked at the universe ring and said, if I get this weapon, I can also use the power of the immortal pagoda. Now, I can kill you without any scruples. You're tuning in to the Mystic Fist YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories.